All right. We should be live. Welcome back. More WBWX coverage. We got a tornado warning in progress, including a tornado that was just on the ground a few minutes ago. I don't believe it is right now. It might still be right here just near Hartley. This is right out here on the Maryland and Delaware state line, essentially. So we got a tornado warning with a confirmed tornado that was radar confirmed as of just a couple minutes ago. And it is, let's see, this was about 7 minutes ago, the last time it was confirmed via radar. And there was a decent CC drop that was in there. Let's see where I can find that frame. Not really there. It was back towards around Barclay here. We can see that CC drop. And I don't think it remained on the ground very long. It was confirmed kind of almost in hindsight there. But it could still be back on the ground here near Hartley if it is on the ground. I think it's pretty unlikely. If it were on the ground, it'd probably be just south of town, back into here. But I don't believe it's on the ground right now. But there was, at the very least, a tornado on the ground, at least for a moment. It kind of looks like you're getting that classic donut hole shape here. So it looks like this storm is trying to occlude, or this rotation, this couplet is attempting to occlude, excuse me. We just had another tornado warning back closer to Philly as well. I can show that a couple frames ago. You'll see it was just west of downtown Philly. And that has since been lifted. So we only have one tornado warning on the map, but it is a confirmed tornado near Hartley right now is where it would be if it were still on the ground. We're not seeing a CC drop that would be super indicative. Although it looks like it might be possible that we have potentially another one. So that's interesting. Wonder if that was perhaps the one that got confirmed. It's possible that we have another one over here as we have just a little notch trying to form here just west of Wyoming, which is Wyoming City in the state of Delaware. So, yeah. Exactly like Juan, good to see you in the chat. Timothy and Kaysen, good to see you guys as well. Doing pretty good today. I can't really complain. Yeah, it does look like it's possible that we have another tornado here with this other little notch that just tried to form really quickly here. But our main area of concern, our main rotation is here near Hartley. And that is where we had that confirmed tornado not terribly long ago. There's quite a lot going on around the U.S. right now. What you'll see is that we do have this very large, considerable severe thunderstorm warning up here. It's going to include areas like Newcastle and like generally the Philly area, Wilmington. So we're going to get a new tornado warning here. Issued. Now, this one is going to be downstream of what we're currently looking at near Hartley, I believe. And so that should populate on the map in just a minute. I see Mikey in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. What will Chicago look like tomorrow? Chicago would be fine. Most likely anyway. I mean, there is a low-end tornado threat up there, so it's something that you're going to want to keep an eye out on. But make sure to check out our forecast video tomorrow morning, as we will have a good detailed analysis on that in our forecast video tomorrow morning. It does look like this new tornado warning, yeah, it is tagged. Interesting. It's a very detailed tag here from the National Weather Service. It is listed as capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. And they say it has a history of producing a tornado and wind damage in Queen Anne's County in Maryland. So just across the border here. Of course, now we're in Delaware. And we are looking at two different areas where a tornado is possible, and perhaps one currently ongoing down here, closer to Dover or Rodney Village here in Maryland. But our main area of circulation is near Hartley. And this new tornado warning is going to be for Kent County in Delaware here. Frankie, good to see you in the chat. Happy Thursday. You're from Colombia. Nice. Very nice. All right. It does look like our secondary circulation that was creating the concern closer to Dover has fallen apart here. But I do think it's possible that we had a tornado on the ground with that for a couple of minutes at least. And I don't think that's not what was originally in that confirmed tornado warning, which has been downgraded now. So we don't have any confirmed tornado warnings on the map. So no confirmed tornado warnings on the map anymore. We just down to one tornado warning, or two if you count the overlapping polygons here. The original tornado warning will likely get lifted in just a couple of moments here as our main area of concern begins to move out of that polygon. You can kind of watch that progression here as things move to the east, and it does look like that rotation in general is broadened out. Now, I will say we are becoming more north and south to the radar unit, which is going to make things a little bit complicated for radar interpretation. Because as we all know, or as we may not know, the radar can only read velocity that is parallel to the direction of the radar beam, essentially. So when you have winds that are perpendicular to the radar beam, the radar cannot interpret those. Something that a lot of folks don't know about radar analysis. Ben, good to see you in the chat as well. What in the world? Now we're getting potentially some sort of contamination going on here. Either that or we've got a couplet like really re-intensifying near Camden. I feel like a lot of this is contaminated here, so I'm taking this with a grain of salt. But if we had a new tornado concern with this, it would likely be right over near Rodney Village. I don't think we have anything on the ground at this moment, and I think it's going to get kind of cut off or run into some issues with this other little cell that is near Dover, as that's going to cause issues in that inflow. But one question, why are EF5 tornadoes so unusual? They're so unusual because they're so rare. They're particularly violent, tornadoes that can take lives and completely destroy property. They're just extremely violent. So they don't happen very often. It takes a perfect storm to produce a tornado like that, but we do have a couple other considerable severe thunderstorm warnings, 3 of them down here in Arkansas pertaining to this little wind bag near Monticello that's continuing down to the southeast through the Mississippi Delta. And so this one is just to the west of Greenville or Arkansas City, headed towards Hamburg. This is not a very populated region here in Arkansas, but it is still something that has to be paid attention to and watch closely. The storm capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail in there as well. Is a tornado outbreak on the table? No, we're not going to be looking at a tornado outbreak tonight. We did have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, in Nebraska a little bit ago. I don't even think there's a severe thunderstorm warning in Nebraska at all anymore. So I'm guessing that fell apart. I didn't even have the chance to look at it before it was gone. Let me see if there actually is anything going on around Nebraska. Yeah, maybe it was pertaining to this guy. Yep, that's where it was. So it was producing golf ball sized hail.
A tornado warning has been upgraded.
Okay, we just got an upgrade to a PDS tornado warning here. So we have a large and extremely dangerous tornado, I believe. Yeah, we do. Okay, so this is near Dover. So we have a PDS tornado warning here. As this rotation did cycle, that was not contamination. This thing recycled very quickly. And look at that gate-to-gate velocity here. You're seeing a very, very tight couplet and a very clear CC drop. So you very clearly have a tornado on the ground. This is a particularly dangerous situation. And this is a tornado on the ground in Kent County. This is right near Dover in Delaware here. So we have a PDS tornado warning right now in the mid-Atlantic. Again, we are in central Delaware right now. And this is on the ground right near Dover. So for a little bit of reference, we are kind of near Highway 13 or just to the west of Highway 13 here. We are basically right outside of the town of Dover, or really in the town of Dover at this point. The tornado is continuing to move east, so it is literally going through downtown Dover right now. What I'm showing you on radar here is an algorithmic, basically radar-derived product here that's just showing where it thinks the tornado debris signature is, which is particularly useful in this scenario because the tornado is, or because it allows me to see the map, essentially, to show you where the buildings are. But look at this. You have a very, very clear CC drop and a rather large one at that on the ground in Dover. So this is a pretty strong tornado that we have on the ground here in Dover. And not necessarily, it might not be the world's strongest tornado ever, but it's absolutely going through an extremely densely populated area. So we are looking at a very damaging and potentially life-threatening tornado here in Dover. So if you're in that area, and again, this is in Kent County in Delaware. If you're in that area, especially in the town of Dover or perhaps Little Creek where this thing's headed next, you need to make sure that you're getting yourself to a basement or a storm shelter or something like that immediately, as this is a particularly dangerous situation and a very, very strong tornado that is on the ground here. So again, the National Weather Service has confirmed a large and extremely dangerous tornado with and this is radar confirmed. So again, whether this should be a PDS tornado or just a confirmed tornado is really not relevant right now because it's going through an extremely populated area. It is cutting in half the town of Dover. It is going literally over the name of Dover, which is usually centered around downtown. So this tornado is literally passing through the heart of a populated area here in Delaware. So if you're in that area, you need to be in a basement or a storm shelter, interior-most room of a sturdy structure, whatever you can do to put as much between you and a tornado as possible, because there is a large and extremely dangerous tornado lofting debris on the ground right now, crossing Highway 13 out here in Dover. So again, this is a very threatening situation and potentially a life-threatening situation. And yeah, this is, again, a populated area here in Delaware. You'll see that even as you zoom out here, it's essentially one of the most populated areas in the state of Delaware, one of the largest towns out here. And so this is, again, just a potentially life-threatening scenario here with a strong tornado that is on the ground and continuing to loft debris here right near the town of Dover. You can see where that tornado put down right here near Dover just a moment ago, and you can see that camera was looking pretty insane out here. And I believe this is from Delaware, so we're getting a live feed from there right now where we have a tornado on the ground. And again, this isn't just a tornado. This is a PDS tornado warning. This is a strong tornado, or at least a large and extremely dangerous tornado that is rolling through the capital of Delaware right now. This is literally, it split the town of Dover in half. And this looks pretty intense what we're seeing here on this traffic camera. And you can see the camera operator panning this thing around. A lot of vehicles still driving around, some of them with their hazards on. But this is potentially a life-threatening situation out here in Delaware, where I believe that this tornado is likely still on the ground. That couplet is still tight enough for this to be on the ground. Now, it has weakened from what it looked like a few minutes ago, but we do still have debris being detected by the radar unit, being lofted quite high, actually, well above 2,000, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 feet, somewhere in that range. So not exactly what you would see with a violent, long-lived tornado, but still one that is particularly dangerous as it's rolling through literally downtown Dover, which again that's the state capital of Delaware. It's one of the largest towns in the state of Delaware. This is a very dangerous situation here, and it's probably fully rain wrapped at this point. So if this thing is still on the ground, it is definitely a very dangerous situation out here near Kent. Was that a power flash that we just saw on that camera? I don't know if that was a power flash I just saw. I saw that out of the corner of my eye a moment ago. I don't know if that's what I just saw or not. Either way, it really doesn't matter. There's still a tornado on the ground near Dover right now. The message here is that you need to be in a basement or in a storm shelter, the sturdiest building you can get to. And if you are on the roadway, you need to get off the roadway immediately and get inside a shelter, because this is a PDS tornado in a very dangerous situation out here. Again, in the state capital of Dover, Maryland, or excuse me, Delaware, Dover, Delaware. Now, it does look like this tornado is inching towards its occlusion. You'll see these bright reds and bright greens have gotten a little less bright here, essentially. We had these oranges and these brighter greens that were in the mix a little while ago. And then over time, you see those greens really starting to fade away. And now those reds starting to fade away as well. It's likely that this tornado has occluded at this point, but there is still debris being suspended in the air, whether the tornado is currently making contact with the ground or not. And again, either way, this is still a PDS tornado warning, mostly centered around the town of Dover in Delaware, which again, the state capital, one of the most populated regions in Delaware. So this is a very dangerous situation. And it does look to me as though that tornado has occluded. You'll see there is at least some debris that is likely still suspended aloft here near the town of Dover. And I do think we were seeing debris lofted at least 4,000 feet, if not maybe around 5,000 feet. But it does look like this tornado has occluded at this point, but it still could be on the ground. And again, we still have a PDS tornado warning regardless. So if you're in this PDS tornado warning, you need to be in a storm shelter in a basement, interior-most room of a sturdy structure. Again, this has rolled right through downtown Dover, the capital of Delaware. And it seems like a lot of our traffic cameras in the area are down. I think a lot of Dover, a lot of the region of Dover right now is without power potentially. And some of these cameras may have gotten taken down directly by this tornado here. So this is a very, very dangerous situation out here near Dover, despite the fact that I believe the tornado has occluded. We're still dealing with a very, very dangerous situation here. And Dover, Delaware has about 40,000 people, so it's a pretty populated town. And it's one of the most populated areas. It's not the most populated town. That would be Wilmington. But Dover is a largely populated area and the state capital of Delaware. And so this is a very, very dangerous situation, what just happened here. And our thoughts are with all those who may have just been impacted by this tornado in downtown Dover, as it literally looks like this thing rolled right through downtown Dover. I'm going to show you a quick look at what this tornado looked like along its life cycle here. This is the first frame where we could identify it on radar as a confirmed tornado, and this was literally right outside of downtown Dover. You'll see there is some residential neighborhoods out here to the west, and this is where that tornado was at. And then on the next frame, you'll see that debris ball got a lot larger, and it was centered right over downtown Dover. I mean, literally right over downtown Dover. Now, the couplet didn't look quite as strong at that point, but regardless, we had definitely a strong tornado that rolled directly through downtown Dover here. So this was a very dangerous situation nonetheless. And it's still a PDS tornado warning right now for Kent County and Delaware, but I do believe that tornado has occluded. And then the subsequent frame here, we'll see it started to take a little bit of a left-hand turn, which a lot of the times is the last thing a tornado does before it occludes. So I believe this was right during its occlusion phase here. You'll see that velocity couplet really wrapping up, and some of those back-end winds really starting to fall apart here with it. And so we had that larger debris ball here. You'll see that correlation coefficient wasn't quite as blue. You'll see a lot more rain getting mixed in, some of that debris falling out and spreading out. You'll see that debris ball just gets slightly larger because that debris is not being contained to the vortex anymore. It's getting tossed around in all directions. And we saw really quite high. This was the highest that I would say we can absolutely confirm that this was a tornado debris signature that's only at 2,100 feet in the air. But then you could argue that potentially up to about 4,500 feet on this frame was the highest that we could get confirmed debris from this tornado, which again, I do believe is fully occluded by this point. It should be fully occluded here by this point. Now, it's possible that we get a recycling in our circulation here. If that happened, it would be near on the southern end of this near Lebanon or Rising Sun, as it kind of looks like it wants to try and do that. It is very outflow dominant here on the southern end of this storm, so I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing any uptick in our inbound velocities here. But it is still something to pay attention to nonetheless. But I think we were looking at a potentially a life-threatening and life-taking scenario, potentially, as what seemed to be a quite strong tornado literally tore right through the state capital of Delaware, downtown, right through Dover. I mean, literally dead center in the middle of Dover. I can zoom all the way in as far as I can possibly go. You're going to see here this is our correlation coefficient. It's blue. And that means we were right in the middle of that debris ball, literally centered on downtown Dover. This could not have been a worse scenario. And so my thoughts are fully with the folks of Dover right now, as again, this is a pretty populated town. 40,000 people live in Dover. It's the state capital of Delaware. And so I'm just really hoping that nobody was hurt with this. It seems like a lot of the traffic cameras in Dover are down. There are a handful that exist. We still have one in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. But this was definitely a very, very scary situation out here near Dover, without a doubt. And again, I don't believe that there is a tornado on the ground at this moment, and I don't think we're going to get another one. It is possible if we were going to get another one, it would be near Little Creek, but it looks like we're surging to become fully outflow dominant here, which is great. That would mean our tornado threat is basically gone with this storm. But the last time this was confirmed on the ground was 6 minutes ago. But yeah, this was a very, very dangerous situation here. It looks like the camera that we have showing to you right now coming out of Dover is literally the single only traffic camera that still is up in Dover. And there's, I think, around 30, maybe 20 to 30 different traffic cameras in and around Dover. And this is the only one that is still up. And it's right at Highway 13 and Bay Road here. So it's near South DuPont Highway and Bay Road. It's like right at that fork here. Where is that? It should be this right here, I think. I believe this is where that camera is at. Right here. And so that is like literally the single only camera that is up right now. And you'll see this thing was probably just barely east of the tornado here. As like the center of the tornado's path kind of came something like this. It looks like this camera just barely stayed out of it. And that's why this camera that you're seeing in the bottom left is still active. A lot of vehicles still driving around, and that PDS tornado warning has been downgraded. A tornado warning is still in place for another 18 minutes here, in case it produces another one and recycles. It is tagged right now as having a history of producing a train spotter and radar confirmed tornado near Dover. So that's what they have it listed as right this moment. Yeah, that's definitely a very scary and dangerous situation that we just witnessed here, right in the state capital of Delaware. And you can see this camera operator panning the camera around, potentially trying to look for damage, as this is literally the only camera. It seems like there are maybe some cameras up that are still to the south of town. Actually, this one, it looks like the cameras north and northwest of downtown Dover are all down. So potentially that area on the north or northwest side of town might be out of power. There's Ryan Jacobs in the chat saying, I'm in Dover right now. Fortunately, I didn't have any damage. My power didn't go out, but your trampoline went out of your yard. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a scary situation out there. Do I know if El Dorado, Arkansas is going to see anything tonight? Out in Arkansas, we still have a couple of considerable severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are all going to be off to your east, though. In El Dorado, you're going to see you're on the left-hand side of the screen here. There you are. There's El Dorado, and this storm is just going to continue off towards the Mississippi Delta and through the Mississippi Delta to the south and southeast. It's not really going to hit you. It's possible that you get another storm that causes you some problems, but it's pretty unlikely. Unlikely that you get anything super significant anyway. And again, we do still have a tornado warning near Dover, and it's possible that we are still not done yet. We still could get more tornadoes, maybe out here in places like the Woodbury area. As you can see, any notching that can form along this boundary here could definitely cause some problems, specifically in this area. So you've got those winds going in different directions here, essentially. And if you get any notching that can occur in there, we'll be dealing with some problems here with potentially more tornadoes, and that's just south of Philly. One of the most favorable environments that was forecast to be on the map this evening was in southern Jersey. So we're still dealing with quite a bit going on this evening here. And there was a SIG 1 tornado risk that was put in place for today. For those who maybe did not see, and you will notice, let me just go ahead and show this, that 5% tornado risk and SIG 1 tornado risk did include Dover. And that's exactly where we just saw that PDS tornado warning rip right through downtown Dover. So a very, very scary situation here in the mid-Atlantic. What about Starkville? Are we in a severe thunderstorm warning? I haven't been paying attention. Looks like we are barely not in a severe thunderstorm warning here in Starkville, Mississippi. All of these storms in Mississippi are a lot of these downburst producing types of storms out here, Mississippi and Alabama. I think there was a mesoscale discussion or maybe even a severe thunderstorm watch that was put in place while I was trying to set things up earlier today for kind of this area of Mississippi and Alabama, where we could easily be looking at storms like what we have in central Mississippi right now that are very capable of producing downbursts. That's why you'll see a storm like this near Winona and Eupora has a massive severe thunderstorm warning around it. Even though the storm is only really right in here, you'll see that warning is very large surrounding it. And that's because these storms can produce those downbursts and microbursts that expand out in a big old ring around the storm, producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds. And that's why we have that large severe thunderstorm warning. And then just west of us here in Starkville, or north of us, I should say, we do have a stronger cluster of storms that's forming. And a lot of these are going to be mostly stationary, moving maybe to the east or southeast, but not very quick. It is possible that we're getting a new area of rotation here. I think this is actually, yeah, this is over the water here, in the bay. But possibly a water spout trying to form here. And as that makes its way towards what should be it's the bottom part of New Jersey. As this makes its way towards New Jersey here, it could produce a tornadic threat. So this is going to be another area to watch, as it almost looks like a mini supercell has been embedded here, potentially, into this like cluster of storms. I think that might be what just happened. I'm not on the lowest tilt angle. Okay. Yeah, it looks like potentially a mini supercell just got itself embedded here. We 100% have pretty good rotation, probably a water spout ongoing here, just off the just to the west of areas like Port Norris in Jersey. So as this one heads on shore, it's going to create some problems. If it's still on the ground, it'll become a tornado at that point, rather than a water spout. So we might see a tornado warning get issued here for Jersey, areas like Newport and Port Norris. Derek Wagner, good to see you in the chat. Cruz, you as well. Logan, Eric Compton, Liam as well. Cold Jeff, Tyler, and Juan. I see you guys all out there. Weather Wisdom in the chat as well. Caleb out there. Good to see everybody. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. Again, we just had a really dangerous situation right through the state capital of Delaware, which is really, really heartbreaking to see, and our thoughts are fully with the people out there right now, and I hope everybody's okay. That was a particularly dangerous situation, a PDS tornado. Tyler saying, I got an interview to work at AutoZone tomorrow. Wish me luck. It's been tough to maintain employment. I do wish you the best of luck. Now, it does look like our potential water spout has weakened just a touch here. However, the couplet has gotten more organized. It just looks like that inflow has weakened a bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen here with what could be a water spout as it continues on its way, really towards like Newport, New Jersey here. We got Cold Jeff asking if there are still storms in DC. Not really. I mean, yes, I would wait a little while before you go play footy, as there's probably still a little lightning in the area. Yeah, you're going to see in the last 20 minutes or so, there's still been a few lightning bolts out there. So I'd give it another 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes before you go outside and try to go play footy. We got legendary storm chaser Mikey Plemons in the chat. Yeah, it does look like we're getting hopefully towards occlusion on what is probably at least was a water spout at some point here, just east of Little Creek and west of Port Norris here in the bay between Jersey and Delaware. So hopefully this does not maintain itself and then eventually, well, I guess I just maybe spoke too soon. Again, it's trying to organize itself, but the inflow looks to be falling off a little bit here. So my hope is that this continues to weaken, as it does kind of look like it's headed towards Newport, New Jersey, which isn't like the most populated area, but then there's a lot of populated areas just inland of that. So hopefully that's not what we're going to see happen here. Regardless, there is still a couplet in place, without a doubt, just to the southwest of Newport. All right. Now that PDS tornado warning is no longer in play and we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, although, again, I do still think we probably have a water spout at the moment. I'm going to quickly gather my bearings and get a couple things together, set up the way that I need them. So one thing I did want to point out, by the way, I know we still have a tornado warning in place in Delaware right now. There is not a tornadic threat there. It's offshore here. It's really a water spout threat at this point, where we likely do have a water spout on the ground, or on the water, I should say, by the way. I am noticing at the bottom of the screen, it still says there's a PDS tornado warning, or it just said that a moment ago. That's not true. We don't have a PDS tornado warning right now. We did just a little while ago. But yeah, one thing I wanted to point out is what we're going to be live for the rest of the night here. You'll see that we have this wind threat back towards my neck of the woods where I'm at here in eastern Mississippi. It's also going to include all of northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and parts of southeastern Arkansas, even parts of Tennessee and Georgia. We're looking at this main risk that is just now wrapping up back towards the mid-Atlantic, and that threat had that 5% hatched tornado risk there for a SIG 1 tornado risk. And again, that is all coming to a close here over the next maybe hour or so. And then we have another threat that's going to develop over the next 2 hours to 3 hours back towards the Central Plains and parts of the Midwest, even closer to like the Corn Belt. So that is going to be one that we're going to need to watch very closely as well. And you'll see that that slight risk is going to extend all the way from parts of Kansas back through Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, and into Minnesota, even parts of Wisconsin. My main area of concern is definitely going to be back towards kind of this region here. I don't think the environment is going to be quite as favorable for us to break the cap and actually get explosive thunderstorm development down in Nebraska. So my main worry is really back towards Minnesota and that southeastern corner of South Dakota. And I do think these storms could persist even a little longer than what they have here. Into like potentially this part of Iowa, like through central Iowa, closer to Des Moines. So that could be something to watch as well. But that slight risk is in place. You're going to see a 2% tornado risk coupled with that, and a 5% wind risk with that SIG 1 area out towards Nebraska and Kansas, where isolated storms could produce those 70-mile-per-hour winds. And then hail is going to be a solid threat, as those mid-level lapse rates are solid, but the low-level thermos are not incredible. That's why wind is not quite as much of a risk with today's setup. So kind of the reverse of what we've seen the majority of the summer. Usually it's been a wind threat, but not much of a hail threat. Here, it's more of a hail threat than a wind threat. But a tornado risk is definitely still going to be present. All right, now jumping back towards what's going on right now. The next scan is in, and you can see that couplet is still there. We could still have a water spout here, as this is just to the southwest of Newport, or the west-southwest of Port Norris, New Jersey, east of Dover. And that next scan even just came in, and it really looks like that inflow is starting to fall apart, which is good, because hopefully that'll stop this from being tornadic by the time it makes landfall here in the next maybe 10 minutes or so. And the tornado warning that still exists for Delaware is going to expire in 4 minutes if they don't remove it sooner. There's not really a tornado threat at all there at this moment. Yeah, that was still a pretty scary situation that we just had near Dover, though, with that PDS tornado that literally cut the town in half. I mean, that was just pretty scary stuff to watch. We can pull a few frames back and look at that. Again, this is when we were in Dover. The first time this tornado put itself on the ground was right outside, or just like on the edge of the town, basically. And then we watched it go right on through literally the heart of downtown Dover here. Just really, really tough to see. And then it started to occlude here as it crossed the river. Yeah, that was just definitely a very scary situation there. And now that is
A new tornado
looks like we just got a
warning
new
has
tornado
been
warning
issued.
for Maryland now, as something might be trying to get going elsewhere. Okay. What did I just do? Whoops. All right, there is a little bit of a couplet trying to form down here. This is Dorchester County in Maryland. So we have a new tornado warning in Maryland, and our original one in Delaware actually just got lifted in that exact moment. So we just replaced one with the other, essentially. And we're looking at what you can see is some influence of the rear inflow jet coming into play here on this cell. You see this big divot in the backside of the storm. So you got those really strong winds from the backside of the storm that are bowing it out. And on that northeast side of that bowing segment, a lot of times you get this little notch. And that's literally, this is a textbook example of the risk that you can get with these storms. And it's right in that notch where we are concerned for a little bit of tornado genesis action being possible. So this is just south of Hudson or near Madison, and it's headed towards Cambridge out here in Maryland. So Dorchester County, definitely another dangerous situation here in an environment that has already produced a strong tornado in Delaware, not far from you in Cambridge. So if you're in there in Cambridge, you need to be getting yourself to a basement as quickly as possible. Can I confirm there was an unwarned tornado in New York City on the terminal radar right now? Which one, JFK? Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like we may have had, it's definitely possible we had a couple water spouts here, without a doubt, right near Atlantic Beach, or just offshore. You're going to see, we're kind of like right near Long Beach, where a good friend of mine is from, actually. Can I get... Yeah, it definitely looks like we had a water spout or two, and possibly one on land here. We may have had a tornado right near like Valley Storm just moments ago. And then possibly like a trio of tornadoes or water spouts here in towards Long Beach. That's definitely not what I expected to see here. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. So that's definitely a dangerous situation. We didn't have, there's not even a severe thunderstorm warning over there right this moment. I will say you can only see that on the terminal radar units. It's definitely not, we're a little too far away from the, I don't even know what town this is in, to be honest with you. OKX. I don't know.
A new tornado
We did just get a
warning
tornado
has been
warning for
issued.
New York, so I'm assuming that's going to be for this, as it looks like we definitely have a solid looking couplet here, and perhaps a couple of them kind of right near Long Beach. There you go. So they warned one of them here. They warned this one that is actually closest to being able to be on land, essentially. Whereas this other one that may have already produced an unwarned tornado a little bit ago, just to the northwest of that, that one is... or perhaps it was like a water spout over this little like inlet here, but that one doesn't look as strong now. You can see it definitely looked a little stronger here. It might have been like a brief water spout, like right in the inlet there. But now towards Atlantic Beach, we have a new tornado warning in place. So this is not far outside of New York City. This is right near Long Beach. So yeah, I mean, this definitely looks all right. Looks like the taller one didn't look problematic, or the taller one, the further north one doesn't look problematic anymore. That one definitely did. But I do think that we have a potential for two different water spouts trying to make landfall, essentially, literally right now. One of them just southwest of Atlantic Beach, one of them due west of Atlantic Beach. So if we were looking at two tornadoes right now, they would be right around here. And again, the one just south of Atlantic Beach would be it would be walking itself onto the beach right now. So this could be definitely could be a dangerous situation here, where we do have a tornado warning in place. And again, I know this is a really small tornado warning polygon, but this is a very densely populated area. Obviously, we're in the greater NYC area here. This is obviously a massively populated region. So, and we're right near the airport. I mean, literally right near the airport. So. We could have easily seen a tornado with that storm, like just on the water here in this little inlet right next to the airport moments ago. And now we are looking at another pair of couplets, potentially water spouts trying to make landfall right now, closer to Atlantic Beach or Long Beach. And here's a look at that life cycle there. So a dangerous situation there in New York. We still have a tornado warning in Dorchester County, Maryland, near Cambridge, as that one is still definitely concerning. It doesn't look quite as threatening now. Looks to me like it's broadened out a decent amount, which is good news. It's interesting. Okay, I see. There's like water there. So yeah, it's a very strangely shaped tornado warning because it's not going over water, essentially. And again, Cambridge is another populated area out here in Maryland. So if you're in that area, you definitely need to be in a basement, in a storm shelter, anything that you can do. I guess a lot of folks out there may not have basements, but get to a strong building and get to the middle of it. Put yourself in a bathroom with no windows. Possibly a bookend type of scenario trying to form out here in the Bay as well, as more of these storms continue towards Jersey. And this is where we had that couplet earlier, and now it almost looks like it's starting to form a bookend here. Essentially what that means is we're going to get that comma head shape where a tornado is kind of possible right in there. And I think that might be what's happening right now, as we're getting another surge in your kind of rear inflow jet type winds. Yeah, we're definitely surging out here. You're going to see a really big Boeing segment starting to form here as this storm is plowing right towards Jersey. That could be a result of a lack of friction with the surface here, as you're now over water for a couple of minutes. That could be causing that. And so definitely a strong wind threat is most certainly prevalent here. This one's barreling right towards like Cape May or Dennisville, that type of area here in southern Jersey, really north of Cape May, closer to Port Norris or Dennisville. And again, we still have a tornado warning in New York as well. And I think this one near Atlantic Beach is that one's pretty concerning. That one might be on the ground right now. This one may have been a water spout that just walked itself on shore here in Atlantic Beach. So again, there's a lot of homes out here. This is, I mean, you can see how many homes there are. This is basically entirely residential and like tourist residential type of thing. So a very populated area, and perhaps a lot of folks that or at least some folks who have homes that are like vacation homes in this area that they aren't at all the time, or Airbnbs and things like that. So
a new tornado warning.
We did just get another tornado warning for New York. I'm assuming that's going to be for this couplet, because that original tornado warning doesn't look threatening to me at all now. So Atlantic Beach, still potentially a tornado on the ground here. A water spout that walked on shore has become a tornado right near Atlantic Beach. And again, if this was on the ground right now, it would have kind of just went right through this area here in Atlantic Beach. So a dangerous situation here as a water spout has just made its way onshore. It's about to cross some more water again. And the good news is there's nothing residential or really populated in this area where it may move through next. And then there's that tornado warning just showing up on your map. Hopefully it is occluded before it gets back towards Oceanside, which again is very, very populated. And there's that new tornado warning here. This terminal velocity is giving us scans like every 2 minutes. Not even. It's like every minute, which is quite impressive. Yeah, we're getting a scan just about once a minute on this terminal radar right now, which is very, very helpful for the National Weather Service. And these tornado warnings, by the way, are for Nassau and Queens counties in New York. Again, we're right near Long Beach here. I mean, this is a very, very populated area. I think this water spout just walked itself right through Atlantic Beach, just to the west of Long Beach. But it's going to go through all these marshy areas out here right now. That's the good news. Hopefully, it will not impact anybody while it's in these areas until it reaches the conclusion of its life cycle, because if it makes it to Oceanside, that could be quite problematic. But here's where that couplet is. You can see it very clear on radar. Looks like our Maryland storm near Dorchester wasn't looking very threatening anymore as of a couple minutes ago. I'm going to check on it, though. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's really much going on there. I think that tornado threat was quite brief. I think it was I don't think it was a bad tornado warning at all. It probably will attempt to recycle. Although I will say the setup looks a little bit messier. That rear inflow jet is not nearly as well defined here. So we could be looking at the demise of the tornado threat with the storm near Cambridge. That would be ideal. Nonetheless, we're still looking at Nassau County in New York City here. We're right near Long Beach and Atlantic Beach. We still have this water spout that I think walked right through Atlantic Beach and is potentially making a right-hand turn here, which would not be ideal. If it starts to make any kind of a right-hand turn towards Long Beach, that would be very not good. So again, this still could be a waterspout turn tornado on the ground right now. Looks like we just got another scan, and this next scan actually has some aliasing issues going on here. So this could have potentially tightened back up a little bit here. But if we had a tornado, it would be in this marshy area now, like just to the north of Atlantic Beach, Long Beach type of area. So in this kind of marsh, essentially. And eventually it's going to continue to move on towards like North Lynbrook, Island Park, or Malvern Park Oaks, eventually, the greater Oceanside type of area. So if it can move in that direction, it could cause more problems. Hopefully it will not do that. Ideally, it will just kind of dissipate here before it makes it back towards anything that it can damage. Lori, I see you in the chat, by the way. Good to see you out here tonight. I know I haven't been able to interact with the chat a ton so far tonight. It's been a very, very active night. I've not been live for very long, less than an hour here we've been live for. And we've just been kind of in the weeds here a little bit.
A new tornado warning.
We did just get another tornado warning in Maryland, so clearly something else is going on down there now that I didn't see, or that I am still not seeing. Oh. Well, I'm not looking in the right spot, so that would help. So this is for St. Mary's, where it looks like, okay. Yeah, a little bit of rotation beginning to form down here near St. Mary's. This is right near Lexington Park, Leonardtown, California, out here in Maryland. So again, St. Mary's County. And St. Mary's, the city, is not in this tornado warning here, but you'll see it's just off to the southeast. This is where our couplet, our area of concern is. That's going to continue moving towards Lexington Park, California type of area here in Maryland. So again, St. Mary's County, another tornado warning is in place for the state of Maryland, as this one has just moved onshore here as it kind of crossed the creek, essentially. So I don't think a creek is really a fair term, fair description for that, but you know what I mean. The Bay. Yeah, that one definitely looks like it's uptrending a bit here, just south of Leonardtown. So we could see a new tornado beginning to form here in a matter of minutes, as that one is consistently uptrended over the last like 5 scans, essentially. Yeah, maybe about 6 scans. So that's definitely one to watch. The one near Cambridge, again, didn't look quite as concerning to me, and I do still think it's possible that we have a waterspout turned tornado on the ground here in the Long Beach area. Although I will say, I don't think so now. So I think that waterspout has occluded, which is great news. Hopefully we don't get any new ones. It is possible anywhere along this kind of leading edge of the storm down here, it's very possible we get another one of these scenarios that forms, and everything here is kind of just moving off towards the northeast here. So things will continue to kind of pull up on that side of the storm as this stuff kind of tries to come back like this. And you'll see that tornado warning has just been lifted as a result of that latest radar scan on the terminal radar here, confirming that rotation has really diminished here. So that tornado warning is now gone in the New York City area. We're just looking at tornado warnings in Maryland right now. One of those is in St. Mary's County, the other one in Dorchester County. The one in Dorchester County, not looking quite as concerning as it did earlier, but it was headed right towards the populated town of Cambridge. It's kind of just south of there now. If we were going to have a tornado, it would be perhaps near Church Creek. But it looks too messy at the moment. And then down towards St. Mary's, we are looking at our newest tornado warning. That one's just near Leonardtown, or towards heading towards California or Lexington Park here in Maryland. That's another area that we have to watch very closely as well. Monster in the chat saying, is the line of storms near Philly going to have any rotations going towards the Jersey Shore? I just need to be prepared. Let me check out what's going on in Philly. So, okay. It's definitely possible that something gets spun up in here. I think it's pretty unlikely. Yeah, I do think it is pretty unlikely, but it is not entirely impossible that something gets spun up out here with these storms if they can remain organized and not interact with all this stratiform rain that is out here throughout really all of central Jersey. So if that happens and it can kind of stay organized and reestablish itself a little better with some inflows, it doesn't really have any right now, it's very outflow dominant, then there could be a tornadic threat. But in general, I think it's very unlikely that we'll have a tornadic threat there. You'll see that in the upper or the mid to upper levels around 6,000 feet, there is still decent rotation near Cambridge right now. It was just the low levels didn't look very enticing to me at all. This one here near Leonardtown, though, still definitely looking pretty concerning. In fact, it almost looks like it's surging to attempt to put down a tornado soon here as it's headed towards California and Lexington Park here in Maryland. Again, this is St. Mary's County. Now, really quickly, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning in Canada right now. This is near Diamond Valley, and it's only going to last another 6 minutes here. You can play that radar loop. And you can see this was a stronger thunderstorm here that was probably producing some hail, perhaps some damaging winds as well. You'll also see that there's another storm just off to the west of that. And we can actually use a volumetric scanner here now, courtesy of our incredible, talented friend Hayden at Canada WX. We can actually see that hail core isn't super impressive here. We can take a volumetric scan of this storm and take a little bit of a look at it. It's not super impressive, but still one worth paying attention to out here in Canada. Again, this is just south of Calgary here, near Diamond Valley. So that's all I'm going to show you from Canada right now, is we do have, again, still 2 tornado warnings in place in Maryland, and not really anything of note going on in Canada. But Weatherman by Hank Williams Jr., that's me. I need a major change.
A new tornado.
Okay, we got a new tornado warning
in
in Jersey now, and that's likely going to be for that area of rotation that I'd been talking about that was about to move onshore into Jersey here. Or perhaps not, actually. Oh, okay. Actually, it's not. This is a whole different something or another that's just kind of popped up here with almost another little mini supercell that's actually just got embedded into this. 100%. We just had another little mini supercell fire off, getting embedded, swallowed up into the line here, which is almost creating, it's like acting as a nudger and enhancing the storm to try and go through a quick tornado genesis near Woodbine. So a new tornado warning in Jersey. And this one could be problematic here. This one could try to go through tornado genesis very quickly. So we need to watch this one very closely here. Again, this is right near Woodbine. And if we go ahead and show the map here, you're going to see it's not in the most populated area in Jersey at all. Eventually it'll be headed towards Corbin City. So thankfully it's really not in the most populated part of Jersey, like at all. Because Jersey is otherwise pretty populated. So again, this is here in southern Jersey near Atlantic, Cape May, and Cumberland counties. And we had a little bit of a mini supercell. Here's some reference points, by the way. Let me just show you where we're at on the map. Let me just do this. So here's New York City. Of course, here is Philly. Here's Baltimore and Washington. And then here's where that tornado warning is, to the southwest of Atlantic City. And again, this is what appears to be a mini supercell that just got itself embedded, or is getting embedded right now, by this Boeing segment, which does have some influence of what appears to be some very strong 850 millibar winds, creating this low-level jet essentially at the rear. Like the rear inflow jet is just kind of surging this storm essentially. So I think what I think this is definitely going to be a continued dangerous situation out here for these types of storms to continue to form in Jersey as things continue. It looks like we could get some more of them, maybe even back towards central Jersey with this one, maybe near Chesilhurst or yeah, again, none of these look like particularly concerning to me at all right now, but it hasn't taken a lot for storms to start trying to get going in this environment. You'll see this one near Woodbine just really spun up quick from something to nothing in a matter of a couple minutes here. So Caleb saying the storms in northern Minnesota appearing to be rotating, so maybe a new tornado warning coming on that one. We can take a quick check on what's going on in northern Minnesota. Oh yeah, we got the mini spinnies all over the place out here in Minnesota. We just saw this happen in Wisconsin about a month ago, and then we've seen it in Illinois since then as well. I think it's definitely possible that we're going to see a tornado warning near Outing here. So that one looks to be rotating decently well. Same thing with the one near Swatara. Those would be the two that I'm worried about. This one up here near Hibbing is a larger storm, but doesn't appear to be quite as robustly organized. So that's going to be something to watch. We could see new tornado warnings up here. That's a good shout from Caleb in the chat. We could see a pair of tornado warnings pop up there in Minnesota. Still watching the storm here near Lexington Park, as it is still decently organized. I don't think this one will put down a tornado, but it's possible. The one near Cambridge doesn't look nearly as organized as it did a while ago. But there's not really much of a threat here for me. So that's good news. Hopefully this tornado warning will be allowed to expire in 8 minutes. And then that one will be gone. And then we have one in Jersey again near Woodbine, which is continuing to pose a threat here. Yeah, you should be good to go if you want to play some footy out in the DC area. I think you're good to go. Let me check the lightning again. Yeah, okay, yeah, you should be good to go in the DC area. Yeah, I mean, this one still looks pretty solid up here in Jersey. Definitely one we have to continue to keep a close eye on, just near Woodbine or close to Corbin City as well, where we could get a new tornado showing up somewhat soon here. Again, we still have other tornado warnings as well. One near St. Mary's in Maryland, and another one near Cambridge in Maryland as well. That one doesn't look nearly as concerning, though, the one near Cambridge. The one near Lexington Park, or just to the northwest of St. Mary's in Maryland, that one is definitely still concerning to me. The one in Jersey still concerning, and possibly some concerning storms up there in northern Minnesota. Yeah, we should be able to get Canadian warnings in our overlay somewhat soon.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All right, we did just get another tornado warning out in Jersey. I don't know what that one's going to be for. Perhaps it could be what's going.
A new tornado warning.
We got another one in Maryland too. So perhaps another pair of tornado warnings here. About to show up on the map. There could be something. Okay, so this is a confirmed. Okay, I see what's happening. So this was a visually confirmed. I was going to say that warning looked dark. That looked like a confirmed warning, and you can see this hook forming here on radar. We have a confirmed waterspout right towards Cape May or North Cape May. That is literally just moments away from making landfall here, essentially. So we have a radar confirmed waterspout, and I'm going to assume that somebody could see this offshore as well. And so this is headed right towards North Cape May here. Especially like it sounds goofy, but like the north part of North Cape May. Maybe closer to Villas. So this is the area that I think it's kind of going to roll on through. And again, this is a waterspout that is about to make its way onshore and become a tornado. And we did get another tornado warning here in Maryland for the St. Mary's area. Let me check in on all that. Okay. Okay, so I think this is more of just a possibly like a handoff type of thing going here, where that previous couplet is starting to kind of migrate down south. So a little closer to St. Mary's, actually the city now here, as we've got another tornado warning. And again, this is St. Mary's County still. The confirmed tornado for Jersey, which is a confirmed waterspout, I should say, that might make its way onto land here in just a few moments. That one is going to be for Cape May County. And we're also going to see the other tornado warning near Woodbine. That one looks to be weakening a lot, which is good news. Yeah, that one looks to be broadening out and falling apart. So hopefully that will continue. But again, we do have a water spout that is moving right towards North Cape May right now. So that could be definitely a dangerous situation here. And there aren't any cameras really out there that I can take a look at to like show you guys any type of a visual. So we're kind of flying dark here, unfortunately, which is fine. But again, this is literally moments, like this is likely onshore right now. It likely just walked itself onto shore. So right near North Cape May, this could potentially be a dangerous situation with a damaging waterspout that has made its way onshore here. What is this, like the fifth tornado warning in the past month in Cape May? Yeah, I've already covered like two other tornado warnings out here towards the Wildwood in Cape May area over the last like month or so. Or maybe just within the past 2 months, essentially. But again, we have a confirmed, no, this is not a PDS tornado warning. This is just a confirmed water spout that's making its way onto land right now, which is why this polygon is pink here that you're seeing on the map. So that's a confirmed tornado warning is what that means. And so you can see that hook forming here on reflectivity. That's where your water spout is at. Of course, you're not going to see a CC drop because it's just lofting water into the air. It's not lofting debris yet. It might loft debris here in just a moment, as it is likely onshore already. It's likely just now making landfall within the last minute to minute and a half, maybe even 2 or 3 minutes. But again, this thing has kind of just made its way onto land here. So a dangerous situation in southern Jersey for Cape May County. And there we go. You can see it's definitely onshore now. So whether or not it is going to cause any damage or not, to be determined. Hopefully it's not on the ground. Hopefully it lifted just before it made it onto land. But definitely a concerning situation here with this land spout, without a doubt. Excuse me, this water spout here that is now turned into a confirmed tornado on the ground, most likely anyway. Hopefully it's a very weak one if it is still on the ground, or hopefully it just lifted. So again, this could easily be on the ground right now still. This was a waterspout turned tornado. That could easily be on the ground here in North Cape May or closer to Villas. And again, this is Cape May County in Jersey here. We still have a couple other tornado warnings as well, back towards Maryland, including one near Cambridge that doesn't look very concerning to me. And then another one closer to St. Mary City, just north of. That one looks like it could be a threat. And then another one out in Jersey as well, which doesn't look to be quite as threatening anymore compared to what it looked like earlier. Though it does still pose some threat here, just west of Corbin City, close to I-49, I think is what that is. Now, I'm not seeing any type of a tornado debris signature on radar here, which is good news. So hopefully this thing is not lofting any debris. Hopefully it's not on the ground or anything like that. But this was a confirmed water spout when it was over the water. The last time it was confirmed to be touching down from the cloud to the surface was, what was that, about 8 minutes ago? So that was when it was over the water here. So it is now over land. Again, we don't know if it is currently on the ground, but that rotation is over land nonetheless. out here in Cape May County in southern Jersey. All right, and our other tornado warning, or the one near Cambridge, I should say, did finally get lifted, so that's good news. But we are still watching the tornado warning that is just to the north of St. Mary's City here, as that one still definitely poses at least some threat. It doesn't look super organized, though. I'm not particularly worried about it. My number one concern by far is the water spout that is likely or could be on the ground here near Rio Grande or Irma, North Cape May, Villas, that type of area. Thankfully, it's right over the trees right now, hopefully, and hopefully it's not impacting the airport here. As you'll see that there's very clearly an airport right here. You can see the strips and the taxiways at this airport. So hopefully it is not causing any damage here, and hopefully that water spout lifted before it made its way onto the surface. If it is on the surface, it's not lofting debris super high in the air where it can be detected by the radar. And by super high in the air, I mean only 1,300 feet in the air. So this is not a very strong tornado if it is on the ground. And that confirmed tornado warning has just been downgraded. So no longer confirmation that it's on the ground. Hopefully it is not on the ground. Logan in the chat saying, apparently there's an area to watch for tropical development on the west coast of Spain. Interesting. I haven't really looked at it, to be honest with you, at the tropics in the last couple of days. Everything really fizzled out that the National Hurricane Center had outlined briefly. So I haven't paid super close attention to it. It does look like that tornado threat near Rio Grande is falling apart a little bit, which is fantastic news. And I just hope that trend continues here. I'm still worried that we could get a brief tornado spat out here. But we have 2 tornado warnings in Jersey right now, one still in Maryland, just north of St. Mary's. It does look like to the northwest of Corbin City, we could be seeing a resurgence in this couplet from earlier that had weakened a decent amount since it was closer to Woodbine. So we might get a new tornado warning for this one downstream, as the current warning only has 10 minutes left. And this couplet does appear to be beginning to move closer to the edge of that tornado warning polygon. I think that warning will just be continued for a while now, and we'll see what happens with it here. Yeah, I do think here near Corbin City, we could be looking at a resurgence with that couplet. So that could be an area of concern that we have to pay close attention to. And then our cell near Rio Grande, that one's falling apart, which is great. That tornado threat is really, really falling apart, and that warning will likely be lifted in a few minutes. And then we have another tornado warning still in place in Maryland for St. Mary's County. And this is just north of St. Mary's City. And that one doesn't look super concerning to me anymore. Let me try a couple different radar units. Yeah, it still doesn't look that concerning to me. Texan 1776 has joined us as a Cirrus member. Thank you very much for that, my friend. Very much appreciate that. All right, I'm going to go back to Minnesota, where we are in St. Louis County up here in Minnesota, where you have a severe thunderstorm warning in place. And then you still see a bunch of these mini spinnies trying to get going out here as well. It looks like a lot of these kind of fell apart a little bit, which is good, as a couple of them looked somewhat robust a little bit ago. There's another severe thunderstorm warning near Granite Falls with another cell out there. Another one closer to Wilmer near Raymond. A lot of cells in this Minnesota area, and maybe parts of southeastern South Dakota are going to be ones to pay attention to as well. You can see another round of these mini spinnies potentially trying to form out here in southeastern South Dakota, to be determined on what's going to happen with those. And then back towards the Sandhills of Nebraska, we are still dealing with quite the prevalent outflow boundary deal going on out here. This is really very, very photogenic outflow boundary on radar anyway. And that's a pretty strong storm in central Nebraska. So that's going to be one to pay attention to as well. That one actually had a considerable severe thunderstorm warning like an hour ago. And I do think that things in the mid-Atlantic are starting to wrap up here for that main wind and tornado threat. Flooding is still going to be a threat for a while. We're going to have a lot of stratiform rain back in this area. Logan saying, can you believe that tornado in Dover tracked 29 miles? Yeah, I saw what you said in the chat. I didn't see that from the National Weather Service, though. It's kind of impossible to get a survey team out there that quickly. Yeah, Mikey, I'm locked in. We've had a lot going on in the short hour and 20 minutes that I've been live, so. There have been some very interesting severe thunderstorm warning polygons down in central Mississippi today. And there's a lot of that's where I'm living in east central Mississippi right now, and there's a lot of conversation surrounding this. The National Weather Service office in Jackson kind of gets picked on the most. They also make some of the most interesting decisions, but you'll see some of these very large severe thunderstorm warnings here. And the reason for that is because we've had so many microbursts and downbursts in this area over the last few days, and the profile still makes sense for that to happen again today. Regardless, though, these are quite large severe thunderstorm warning polygons. But all these tornado warning storms have missed me in Jersey, thankfully. Good. Yeah, Monster, I'm glad to hear that. And hopefully it continues that way. I do think that the tornado threat is really starting to wrap up in the mid-Atlantic. It's possible that we see something random still continue to spin up, maybe back towards Atlantic City. If anything in here starts to recycle or notch out at all, closer to Corbin City. But that's about it. Our tornado warning in Maryland has been lifted now. So we just have 2 tornado warnings out here in Jersey. One for Cape May and then another for Atlantic and Cumberland counties as well. Yeah, not a great day to be a Jersey resident. A lot of storms, a lot of stronger winds, some hailstones out there, a lot of flooding. You're going to see a handful of considerable flash flood warnings out here right now across Delaware, Maryland, and Jersey. You'll see one is going to include Atlantic County. So this is going to include the entire greater Atlantic City area and even outside of town inland here. So a very, very large area in that flash flood warning. We do only have 3 minutes remaining on these 2 tornado warning polygons. They may just let them expire naturally. I don't think either of them need to be on the map anymore, but I also don't really have an issue with them just allowing them to expire. And yeah, so after things wrap up here in the mid-Atlantic, our concern is going to shift back towards the Corn Belt through the Central Plains and into the Midwest, where we are going to be looking at that 2%. Let me just show it again. We're going to be looking at that 2% tornado risk out here with storms just now beginning to develop out in that neck of the woods. You're going to see there is a SIG 1 wind threat as well throughout Kansas and Nebraska, and then a more significant hail threat for a lot of these areas as well. I am more concerned about really Minnesota than anything else. I think we're going to struggle to get a lot of convection that will actually fire off in this region, but we'll kind of see what happens. We do still have that large bowling ball storm that's out here in central Nebraska right now. I can go ahead and show that again here in just a second. There isn't a severe thunderstorm warning on it right now, so I'm going to have to navigate myself over that direction. Here, we'll start in Colorado because that's one I can get to easily. And here's a look at that big old wind bag out here in central Nebraska right now, right near the Sand Hills, kind of closer to the edge of the Sand Hills here. And so we're going to continue to watch that one as well. But I don't think we're going to get a bunch of other storms that fire off. You're going to see in southeastern South Dakota, we're getting a bunch of storms firing off, and then back towards Minnesota, getting a lot of storms firing off as well. That's going to be the area I'm worried about, is really, I can get my pen tool out. It's really kind of like this area. That's my main concern. I'm not really so much worried about Kansas or Nebraska, maybe even Iowa, but I do think we could have some storms that track into Iowa, especially this northwestern like corner of Iowa up here. So that'll be something to pay attention to as well. And those tornado warnings have been lifted. So no tornado warnings on the map, which is the fantastic news. I meal prepped a little bit, Kason, to answer your question about what I had for dinner. I meal prepped a little bit this week. So I had a rigatoni alla vodka with Italian sausage and spinach. That's what I had for dinner. But it was leftovers. I made it last night. I'm pretty sure I made it last night, or maybe 2 nights ago. I don't even know. I think I made it last night. How are your tacos? What type of tacos did you have, Kason? Can I sound that out? Sound what out? Yeah, I haven't really seen that much satellite imagery. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it does look like there's been a lot of cloud cover. Man, that storm out there in Nebraska is absolutely enormous. I'm going to draw this for you guys just to show you how large the cloud cover is from the storm in Nebraska. As it's kind of insane, to be honest with you. My goodness. Let me just draw how much of Nebraska is covered by clouds from this storm right here. So there's the storm. I'm going to do my best to get this right, or at least somewhat close. It even clips into parts, like around parts of Iowa, it looks like. That is all cloud cover associated with this enormous storm out here right now, via satellite imagery anyway. So that's another thing that'll limit the storms that could fire off in Nebraska. Towards South Dakota, the skies have been pretty clear. And that's why we're seeing all these storms firing off right now. The skies are not clear anymore. We have all of this convection here, all these individual cells starting to fire off there in the southeastern corner of South Dakota. And then towards Minnesota, though, it's been a lot messier today. And there has been a lot more cloud cover, which leads me to believe that we could see a little bit less convection. I do think we're really going to struggle to break the cap and get a lot of robust developing thunderstorms here that are consistently getting parcels to the LFC. So that could limit our storm development for today. The meal I had, I'll just type it in the chat. It was a pretty simple thing. I just made it. I made a ton of it so that I could have it for like lunch and dinner over, some handful of days. Like I had it for dinner last night. I had it for dinner tonight. And I'll probably have it. I think I still have 2 portions of it left. Oh, I also had some garlic knots too. But I didn't make those. Those were I bought them in a bag. I bought them from like the bakery. All I did was throw them in the oven. In a bag. They come in an aluminum bag, like an aluminum foil bag, so that you put the instructions say to like put the bag on a baking sheet on some aluminum foil and just put it in the oven. And that's what I did, and they came out fine. So, but I didn't make those. I made the pasta, like not from scratch, of course, but like I made the dish for that. Texas boring weather pattern. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, most of everything in the South is a boring weather pattern right now. We've just had a giant heat dome set up for what feels like months. It's broken up, a couple of times to allow for some different weather a handful of times. But then it sets right back in. I mean, speaking of ovens, this Texas heat is getting insane. That's hilarious. That's literally what Tex in 1776 said, or right before that. Again, things will be a lot more calm for a little while here until we get into that threat that is starting to develop out here towards Minnesota and southeastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa as well. We do still have stronger storms that are out here towards Jersey and Delaware and Maryland. And a flooding threat will persist out there as well. It's still possible that we get some random tornadic type of thing that develops here, but I think actually it's really not possible, to be honest with you. But I'm just kind of saying that to cover my tracks. We are getting a little bit of a bookend that's developing here near Corbin City. That's the only thing I'd even be remotely concerned about. But I'm personally a non-believer in those things ever producing tornadoes. It's very rare, and it usually requires a mesoscale collision for that to happen. So that's just me. A lot of folks will really, really enjoy their bookend tornado threats. I'm not a bookend tornado threat enjoyer. Sleeveless Joe in the chat saying nothing special, but I did send a video in Discord of clouds being pulled into the RFD of the storm that rolled through central Jersey from southeast Pennsylvania. That storm is now dissipating. I'll check it out. I think we just had some thunder here. I don't know if you guys had that. Oh yeah. Okay, I see that video. I see all those low-lying clouds that are just kind of yanking on from right to left. It looks like across your screen there. Yeah. I'm missing a little context on exactly where that the storm is. But let's see. What did you say? You were looking, getting pulled into the RFD of the storm from southeast Pennsylvania. So if you were in southeast Pennsylvania looking to send, you should be looking southeast. So if you're looking southeast and the clouds are going from right to left, man, I'm trying to orient myself all around in circles here. Yeah, very nice. I appreciate you sharing that. All right, I'm going to jump into Texas because in northern Texas, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning just to the northeast of Amarillo, back towards Panhandle. You were looking at the southwest? Okay, I got you. That makes sense. We also have another one near Dimwit. I mean, Dimmitt. I said Dimwit. Near Summerfield or Dimmitt. Another one as well. We might get another one for Friona, as that one could be producing a little bit of hail. And then in Arkansas, we still have a stronger storm in the Mississippi Delta that's starting to make its way into Louisiana as well. That one's weakening a decent amount, though. Central Mississippi, or really just kind of throughout Mississippi, still looking at pop-up storms being possible. You're going to see some near Laurel, south of Meridian, and then back towards Starkville or Winona. That is a large severe thunderstorm warning. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning here in northern Florida. And that's a pretty large one, pretty much a wind-driven deal out here with 60-mile-per-hour winds being possible in there. Then we have one in southwestern Georgia as well. That one's near Parrott. 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with that little pop-up storm out there. And that is it. That is all that's going on around the map, except for what's going on back towards the plains, where we are watching for things to potentially get active here with a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in place already in Minnesota. The one near Granite Falls, that one could be producing a little bit of hail. And then we're also watching to the northwest of Duluth, closer to Hibbing or Virginia. We've got another storm out there. That one doesn't look super concerning, though. I think that severe thunderstorm warning will get lifted. However, this cell, which is just detached from that near Pengilly or Marble, that one That one looks like it's trying to get organized here. So that's one to watch. These are also ones that we have to pay attention to just in case. Michelle, good to see you in the chat. Do I think the tornado risk is done? I do not think it's done, no. I think there will be a tornado risk towards Minnesota, southeastern South Dakota as well. Really just like anywhere in here type of region. I don't think it'll go as far to the southwest though. The way things have gone today. Like I don't really think it'll translate all the way down into Nebraska or Kansas at all today. But we'll see. So again, still a couple of stronger storms out here in Minnesota as we're watching for development. Anything that can remain discreet and organized, such as this one right here near Marble. That's the one I'm watching the closest right now. Some other storms in northern Minnesota as well. I don't think there's anything going on in Canada. I'll take a quick check. Whoops. Let me disable this. New features on Canada weather. We do actually still have a severe thunderstorm warning out here towards Diamond Valley. This is just south of Calgary, or I guess southwest of Calgary here. And we can actually take a volumetric look at this now. Again, courtesy of our great friends at Canada Weather, who are helping us out with allowing us to use the incredible program that Hayden has been tirelessly working on. So, oops. I did a really poor job with this. There we go. Something like that. Although it looks like we're only getting like the lowest tilt angle or something like that. Something's messed up here, unfortunately. So I don't think we'll get a volumetric look here just yet, but that's okay. Still a strong storm under a severe thunderstorm warning to the southwest of Calgary. And then there's also another one. What did I see? This is associated with the same storms that are in Minnesota right now, but this is a severe thunderstorm warning just on the Canadian side of the border. And that one's near Argo Lake. Strong winds, quarter-sized hail, heavy rain, all possible with that one, according to Environment Canada. So their polygons are better than ours. I don't know if I would say they're better than ours. I mean, they are a little more specific, I guess you could say, with them sometimes, which it can be a good thing for sure. Apparently, lightning was just detected like 6 miles from me. How about that? Hopefully the storm doesn't come my way and kill our power. That would be very inconvenient. Scott, good to see you in the chat. I'm still watching this little mini supercell out here near 50 Lakes. It looks like Freiberger has just ended his broadcast and brought all of his viewers in. So good to see everybody coming in from Evan Freiberger's stream tonight. Evan, I appreciate the raid, my friend. I don't know what time you started today. I got a late start, so I'll be going until about like maybe 10 p.m. tonight. We got a long ways to go to cover the mini supercell threat out here towards Minnesota and South Dakota. He's been going for 6 hours, man. Yeah, Evan and I are friends. I'm friends with a lot of people in the weather space now, to be honest with you. Yeah, we still have a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, things are calm right now. We're in that transitional phase here before things get active again, as our mid-Atlantic storms are really wrapping up, and we're watching for new development out here towards Minnesota, southeastern South Dakota as well. Still watching this one really closely. It's the one that I like the most on the map right now. Is just to the northeast of Grand Rapids here in northern Minnesota. So are they all people that don't fearmonger? Yeah, I mean, the people that I hang out with anyway. Yeah, of course. So yeah, Liam in the chat. Let's see who else do we got. EM Catman, Tornado Explorer Alt. We got Jared back in the chat. A lot of folks out here, so I appreciate everyone tuning in with us tonight as Mr. Evan Freiberger's broadcast has come to a close. And of course, we're continuing things here for another couple of hours with the tornado threat. That is a little bit of a much lower end threat, but it is one that will persist for the next couple of hours out here in Minnesota, maybe even northwestern Iowa, southeastern South Dakota, maybe even parts of Nebraska, though I don't really think Nebraska is something that I'm very concerned about for tonight. It is in a 2% risk. I'll show you what I'm talking about. What did I just do? I just made my Google Chrome like the size of a pixel by mistake. Anyway, that 2% tornado risk stretching all the way into Nebraska, even into northern Kansas. I don't really think that's a significant issue. I'm more so concerned about like this type of region. So that's kind of the area I'm going to be watching for the next couple of hours here for tornado risk. And we are going to have a forecast video coming out tomorrow because that tornado risk is going to return back towards like Rockford, Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee. And Illinois just can't catch a break, man. They just really can't catch a break. So I'm going to be putting a forecast video out tomorrow morning talking about that. And then that'll take you through your weekend as well. As I think Saturday is going to be very calm. But I definitely want to get a video out for tomorrow with how active Illinois has been. Can I comment on the Long Island forecast? Yeah, we can just go right up back in that direction and just show you what's going on the radar right now. So you're going to see there's a lot of stratiform rain out here. And in general, in the entire NYC area, literally the entire NYC area, we've got tons of stratiform rain, even all the way down through Jersey and down through Delaware into Maryland. So that's going to continue for a while. You're going to see that classic comma head shape forming here, where you're going to have a lot of just stratiform rain that's going to follow these storms, that have continued to push on through and are going to make their way off into the Atlantic. Just a lot of stratiform rain surrounding that. So some rumbles of thunder, pockets of heavier rain definitely going to be possible in there. You're going to see a lot of lightning, especially back towards southern Jersey and into Delaware and Maryland. So not quite as much back towards Long Island or the greater NYC area or anything like that. But definitely still a lot of rain. So that flooding threat will persist. You're going to see there is a flash flood warning out in this region right now in New York. That's going to be for the Bronx, Kings, Queens, and Nassau. So a lot of areas to watch. There actually are a couple of considerable flash flood warnings out here as well across Delaware, Maryland, and Jersey. So even for the whole Atlantic City area and then south of Dover, which was hit by that PDS tornado earlier. We did get an upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for the storm just to the northwest of Sioux Falls. That one actually looks like it's trying to organize. You're going to see a ton of contaminated data here, but that hook echo morphology looks like it's starting to form here, and we could see this storm become tornadic. So that's going to be one to watch. As we go up in the tilt angles a little bit here, you're going to see those magentas are really going to stay in here quite high, and you can see these hail spikes starting to form at the higher tilt angles. Here's a look at a very, very clear hail spike here. So we're most certainly looking at a hail-producing storm. This considerable severe thunderstorm warning is tagged for golf ball-sized hail. So I expect that trend will continue with this storm, and perhaps some of these other ones that fire off out here in especially like southwestern Minnesota towards southeastern South Dakota and northeastern Nebraska, where we could have that threat for those larger hailstones more than anything else. EM Catman with the $5 super chat saying, thanks for the Long Island report. Much appreciated. You're welcome. You're welcome. You don't have to donate for that. I'm happy to do it, but I'm very, very grateful for it. I very much appreciate the 5 buckaroos. I swear it's literally impossible to have a week that doesn't have a tornado risk in Illinois in 2026. Yeah, pretty much. It is the year of 2020, or the year of Illinois. It is in fact the year of 2026. That's not to state the obvious on you guys. I'm not trying to drop any groundbreaking information here, but it is in fact the year of 2026. All right. Something I showed a little bit ago that I kind of want to show again here, though. Here's a look at some satellite imagery. Just look how, what is happening here? Look how just absolutely enormous this storm in Nebraska is. You can see Nebraska towards the top left of your screen where I've got this little plus sign thing wiggling around. That is all that one giant storm in Nebraska with its just enormous anvil taking up like half the state. Still a windbag scenario out there. And then just off to the north of that, you can see all of our little cells beginning to fire off in southeastern South Dakota. And then a lot of convection and cloud cover in general in Minnesota. And I think that's going to limit our ability to get explosive thunderstorm growth in Minnesota. But still concerned about that area nonetheless. The storms I'm most concerned about, though, are going to be back towards like north central Minnesota, where you have a little bit more of a clearing and a break in your clouds. And then also towards that southeastern South Dakota region. Those are my main areas of concern. So we're going to continue to monitor everything nonetheless, though. And of course, we still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in Canada as well. This one is going to be near Argo Lake. And we also have another one that is back to the south of Calgary. In fact, we just had another one issued to the northwest of Calgary. That's a new one here that has formed over the last few minutes. We can see if we can get a volumetric scan on this storm now. Let's try this. This is, again, courtesy of our great friends at Canada Weather. Look at this. This is the first of its kind volumetric scanner for Canadian radar that exists in any public space. There, obviously, private sector places may already have had this for some time, but this is the first that it really exists in the public space. So shout out to Canada WX and Hayden, who they're doing groundbreaking things over there. Really, really cool stuff. In fact, this is, again, what I'm showing you right now. This is some of the first times that this has ever been shown on a public broadcast. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, volumetric scanner out here in Canada. Of course, we can do this, and I do this all the time for our storms here in the United States. As you can see, this core for the storm that has golf ball size hail is launching those 60 dBz targets, those magentas above 30,000 feet here. So a pretty strong storm, not the most sheared environment in the world. So it seems anyway, this storm isn't super tilted with height, but it is still decently organized. But yeah, this is some of the first instances. I think I maybe showed this on broadcast the other day. Other than that, this might be the very first time we've ever seen a volumetric scanner on a broadcast before for Canadian radar. So that's pretty cool. And a huge shout out goes to Canada WX and Hayden, who is the developer of it, as he's been doing incredible things. And again, we are going to be working with Canadian weather more frequently as it becomes more possible for me. Here's a look at the storm that is to the southwest of Calgary, and see if we can get this one to look all pretty as well. Yeah, I didn't do the best job with this one, but it still looks nice. You can see those magentas getting highlighted in there. That's kind of the main point of this, is to show you how tall these storms are getting, and then also show you where those hail cores are developing. So you can see this one has 2 clear updrafts in this storm. So that was some thunder outside my apartment here. So perhaps an updraft trying to form in my apartment. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, some really cool, groundbreaking stuff happening at CanadaWX.com. Definitely make sure to give them a try. It's by far the best weather platform in Canada. It's not even close, and it's still in beta. I mean, it's crazy what Hayden is doing. Very big fan of what he's been accomplishing there with CanadaWX. Now, I do think this storm is perhaps less organized now. It looks like we had a split happen here. Yeah, we definitely had a split. So we have a second updraft here that is formed with this storm. I bet you we can. We might not be able to get a good look at it. That's okay though. But either way, a splitting supercell near Sioux Falls here. Yeah, really, really cool stuff, Scott. I was super excited when Hayden sent me a message and he was like, "Guess what I have now?" And I was like, "Oh." Let's see. What are my classes? Not the ones that I teach. So the actual classes that I'm a student in are in the mornings on every single day of the week. So I have a 9 a.m. class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and an 8 a.m. class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So for example, tomorrow's Friday. So we're going to film our forecast video at around 5:30 in the morning and have it out so that it's out for you guys before we're off to class in the morning. Fortunately for me, that's my only class. Like all I have on Thursdays and Fridays, especially, is just a class in the morning. That's all I have. So I can go home and go back to bed for a couple hours if I need to. But yeah, still a couple of stronger storms out here in southeastern South Dakota as those track forward into northwestern Iowa, maybe even northeastern Nebraska here. We'll continue to watch them to see if any of them can remain discreet and really get themselves organized. If so, we could be looking at a tornado threat with any of those storms, but it is a lower end threat for tornadoes for the rest of the night out here towards the plains in the Midwest. We still are watching for other storms to develop. We had a couple attempts at mini supercell genesis out here near Grand Rapids, but things have gotten messy quickly. You'll see you still have a couple of weekly rotating updrafts present out here, but those ones have gotten quite messy. The only one I'm still watching, closely, just in case, is this one here near Marble or Pengilly. That one looked a little better earlier than it does now. It may be recycling here, but if that one can get itself going, it's got nothing to its south. So that's the one I'm watching the closest right now. And again, we showed these storms earlier with our Canadian radar imagery, but these are kind of straddling the border here between Canada and Minnesota. So again, this is still a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, as this storm is just kind of about to make its way through Sioux Falls, and it could be dropping up to golf ball sized hail. So if you are out there in Sioux Falls, definitely make sure that you're ready for that. This is a stronger thunderstorm here that could be dropping some damaging hail, potentially the type that could cause cracks or maybe even shatter your windshield if you get caught in the middle of that hail core. So could definitely total vehicles in terms of denting your vehicle as well. So definitely make sure that you are paying very, very close attention to all that. And we still have this stronger thunderstorm out here in central Nebraska that is continuing to bull on through. You'll see it's out here closer to Arnold, Broken Bow, Callaway as well. This one was considerable severe thunderstorm warned like 2 hours ago, but it has not been in quite a while. You're going to see that crazy outflow boundary this thing is kicking out over time here. This has been a pretty strong thunderstorm. See a decent amount of lightning in there as well. Probably a lot of rain. No warning on that one at the moment anyway. Hayden, good to see you in the chat. We just showed off your incredible new volumetric scanner for Canadian radar imagery, which might have been the first time that's ever been shown on broadcast before. So that is some cool stuff for sure. I'll go ahead and show it again just so you can see it happen. You can see your product in use here. And there you go. There's a look at some of those some of that updraft action going on with these storms. So it's very, very cool stuff. Hayden's just done an incredible job developing this website, like I said a little bit ago. Have a great night, Summer Dragoness. We will see you soon. Looks like this storm over here near Marshall or Redwood Falls might be trying to get itself organized here in southwestern Minnesota. So that'll be one to watch too. I do think we could see a lot of splitting supercells tonight. We already have seen a handful. Fluffy clouds, cotton candy. There you go. Hayden saying that the volumetric scanner will hopefully come to the public next week, is what he's saying. Patrick Sickles, good to see you in the chat. I'm going to quickly check in on what's going on back towards the East Coast. We do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out here towards the Carolinas. You're going to see one in North Carolina, one in East Tennessee. This one's closer to Athens. Those are just some stronger thunderstorms in general. Nothing crazy. You're going to see everything that was back towards the mid-Atlantic is gone at this point in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings. Out in Colorado, we are still looking at a couple of stronger storms. We'll see the Pueblo radar is down. But near Colorado Springs, we are looking at a stronger storm. Could be producing maybe that ping pong ball sized hail in there. And then down towards Arkansas and Mississippi, we got a couple stronger storms as well. You'll see that residual thunderstorm that was formerly a considerable severe thunderstorm and more of a windbag, really. Has broken up a lot, but still is at severe thresholds. Those warnings don't have a ton of time left on them. Another one just west of Pine Bluff, a smaller storm that's severe thunderstorm warning, and then one that is actually straddling the Oklahoma-Arkansas border near Eagletown and DeQueen. That is one to watch as well. And then out in central Mississippi and southern Mississippi, one near Laurel, south of Meridian. That one could be the type to produce some microburst type action. Same with the storms that are just to my west in central Mississippi, as I'm in Starkville, just off to the east of that. These are near Winona and Eupora, just east of I-55. Down in Florida, we're still looking at some stronger thunderstorms as well, capable of producing those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And that's pretty sure that's it. That is, oh, actually, I lied. We have one that just popped up here a moment ago in Arizona. So we do have northwestern Arizona. We're looking at a stronger thunderstorm out here, as it is monsoon season. And we did, of course, watch Scott and Mark chase some haboobs around down there last week. That was pretty cool stuff. And our only considerable severe thunderstorm warning is back towards Sioux Falls. And that is for that golf ball sized hail with the storm that is making its way right over towards Sioux Falls right now. All right. This maybe is a decent moment to talk about everything going on with Met Monday, as we do have another very special guest coming this next Monday that I'm really excited to announce very soon here. Hopefully we'll have that announced within the next couple of days. It could happen really anytime between now and Sunday. Hopefully we can get that announced before Sunday. We'll see what will happen with that. And yeah, we got some cool new stuff and some improvements to the Met Monday broadcast. Honestly, we didn't have as many hiccups as I thought we might for a 2-hour production. But we have some bugs that we've fixed, including issues with the mics getting muted when they shouldn't be, or not getting muted when they should be, and things like that. So hopefully that will be resolved this coming Monday. And then a couple of other improvements as well. Wild day in the mid-Atlantic. Yes, it has been. We did get a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings just slapped up here in Mississippi. One of them is going to be south of Jackson near Brookhaven and Bogachita. And then even down towards Columbia, Mississippi as well. So getting down closer to the coast, closer and closer here. Some of these storms. You're going to see there's some storms down near Gulfport as well. And then we did get a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning in South Dakota. We also had one more severe thunderstorm warning pop up in Arizona. That's going to be near Bumblebee. North, basically due north of Phoenix, north along I-17. Tim Townsend, good to see you in the chat. We got some storms down here in Mississippi. And here's that new considerable severe thunderstorm warning where we do have this same storm that has been producing that golf ball sized hail. It had a little bit of a split here. So now hopefully it'll kind of just split right around Sioux Falls. We'll see what kind of happens with it here over the next few minutes. It looks like it might just kind of split right around Sioux Falls. So that would be ideal. But a lot of these mini storms starting to get up and going out here. Into South Dakota and Minnesota. So we're going to continue to watch all of these very closely over the next couple hours to see if we're going to get any type of development that could produce any type of tornado genesis or anything like that.
A new tornado warning.
Matter of fact,
issued.
Is that Virginia? Did we just get a tornado warning in Virginia? We did. We just got a tornado warning for Mecklenburg County in Virginia here on this. Interesting. So we have a new tornado warning in Virginia. That's not what I expected, but okay. So a new tornado warning out here in Virginia. That's going to be for Mecklenburg County. This is near Union Level, west of La Crosse, and west of I-85 out here. So, yeah, definitely not what I expected to see. Yeah, this one, I mean, interesting. I wonder if there was like a reported funnel cloud on this. I don't think there was. How about that? Curious what the tornado damage was that was reported in Dover. Very large tree branches were down. Some over 2 foot in diameter. Large tree around 3 foot diameter snapped and partially blocking the road. So that's intriguing. But again, we do have a tornado warning in place in Virginia now. This really doesn't look that concerning to me, to be honest with you, but it's right near Union Level or South Hill, just to the west of there. And we'll continue to stay with it here. Yeah, 3 foot diameter tree snapped is kind of insane. I don't know if that's 100% true. That's obviously not a National Weather Service report. That is a report that has come out of Spotter Network. So it also could have been like a dead tree or something like that. But again, if it was a healthy like hardwood tree that's 3 foot in diameter, it's probably was an EF2. But yeah, it's not my job to make those types of guesses or assumptions. That's up to the National Weather Service to go out there and survey the storm damage, and they'll let us know what they find. Looks like they did. No, that's not for this. So never mind. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with that survey eventually. But again, tornado warning still in place in Virginia right now. Mecklenburg County doesn't look super threatening to me, but definitely one to watch nonetheless. I mean, this thing's maybe interacting with some sort of a boundary here. I think this is some sort of a stationary boundary, maybe that is in place. Doesn't really seem to be moving much. I'm going to pull some other frames back. We'll take a little bit of a better look at it. Looks like we definitely had some cloud street action or some gravity waves going on out here too. Near Raleigh. So, yeah, definitely an interesting environment out here. But yeah, still a tornado warning for another 14 minutes here. Not one that seems all that concerning to me, but still one that if you're in the tornado warning polygon, I mean, if you're in any tornado warning polygon ever, you got to be in the basement. You always got to take it seriously if you hear those sirens going off. You're welcome, Kason. we might do a little breakdown on maybe gravity waves or horizontal convective rolls for the next Met Monday episode. We'll see. This is not the tallest storm in the world either, by the way. You see these echo tops here. These yellows starting to creep in. Those only come into play at 40,000 feet. So again, not super tall storms out here. I really don't honestly think that this storm is very threatening in terms of a tornado potential, but it's definitely possible that a funnel cloud or something was reported by like emergency management. It's just not listed on here. So, but on radar anyway, it doesn't look very problematic to me. Still a lot of interesting, funny business going on here. You know what? This is actually the boundary of this storm. It looks like that maybe it's stalled out. You can kind of see it all the way when I pull these frames back here. And then it kind of disappears on radar for a bit, but it comes back. So that almost makes me think that this is even more outflow dominant than it seems. Which even further makes me think this is not really a storm capable of producing a tornado, but... It is kind of cool seeing what could be gravity waves, could be just some HCRs, something like that rolling on through like the Raleigh area here. It's just these lines, these like parallel lines like this that are continuing to push on to the northwest. That's what I'm talking about here. As we watch this radar loop, you can see those develop and form, or develop and propagate, I should say. Develop and form would mean the exact same thing. Yeah, seeing the bats around the bat caves. Yeah, there's all sorts of interesting things that the radar can detect. I mean, the radar can detect anything that exists. The radar doesn't know what it's hitting. It's up to the radar interpreter to make sense of that. So all right. Your YouTube just glitched big time. It was skipping back and forth like a scratched up DVD or CD. Interesting. YouTube has never really bugged like that for me. I'm checking back in on the Sioux Falls storm really quick, as that one is still considerable severe thunderstorm warning for golf ball size hail, but it kind of looks like it's split on either side of Sioux Falls. So hopefully it didn't actually impact Sioux Falls and kind of just went around it. That would be ideal. This one, there's a low precip hook that is forming out here near Olivet. So we could end up with a new tornado threat developing pretty quickly here. And I was looking at this one a little while ago. Actually, no, this is not the one I was looking at a little while ago. Which one was I looking at a bit ago? I think it was this one. One of these, maybe I was looking at a bit ago. I know I liked this one originally, but that one doesn't look good anymore. Maybe it was one of these. I don't know. Moral of the story is we've got a low precip hook that is without a doubt forming near Olivet. And it is trying to wrap up pretty quickly here. You can see that RFD is rapidly forming. There's another little cumulus bubble here that is getting absorbed into that inflow region now. So if the storm can survive that, it could become tornadic somewhat quickly. So we need to watch it. You're going to see these echo tops are decent looking. And there is some decent rotation in there. That's not side lobe contamination that we're looking at. This is authentic data. So we may have a new tornado threat, a new tornado warning that could form here in the next few minutes. And this is not terribly far, excuse me, to the southwest of Sioux Falls. I don't know if there's anyone storm chasing on this. It looks like a couple of people are headed that way now. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this one. Man, I've smacked my mic like 10 times tonight. A lot of contaminated data coming in on a bunch of these storms near the Sioux Falls radar. Still watching this stronger storm here near Redwood Falls as well, as that one's been going for quite some time now. It was back up towards Granite Falls a while ago. And that one's still surviving. And the reason I'm paying attention to this storm is not really because I think it poses a tornado threat. It's because it's kind of proof of concept that a storm can sustain itself in this environment. So, and there's that new tornado warning although it's actually not at all where we were looking at. It's now back towards Maryland. So we have a new tornado warning in Maryland, and our tornado warning in Virginia was just lifted. So let me make my way on over to Maryland. And I'm guessing it's going to be down here towards, okay. I assume it's going to be right here near Pittsville. Although I will say that rotation looks a little weaker on the last couple of scans than it did a few minutes ago. So it's interesting to me that now the tornado warning has come out, but still something to pay attention to nonetheless. I assume that's where that tornado warning is going to be. Perhaps something that looks a little like this. I don't know. We'll see what comes out of this in just a moment. There it is. Yeah. So that tornado warning here in Maryland is for Wicomico and Worcester counties. It's going to include Newark, Berlin, Ocean City, here in like southeastern Maryland. This is south of Selbyville, south of Millsboro. But yeah, definitely some rotation in there. Yeah, it still looks all right. So a new tornado warning in place here in Maryland. You think Oliver is on the ground? That's the one in South Dakota, right? That's not even warned right now. There have been many strong tornadoes outside the U.S. this year. Yes, there have. There have been a bunch in Brazil. We've seen them in We saw one in China. I think we saw one in Vietnam. I think we've seen one in Argentina. Of course, Argentina and Brazil are, they get a decent amount of severe weather. That's not anything super surprising. I'm going to check in on the South Dakota storm. We did get an upgrade or a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning on our wind bag out here in Nebraska, by the way, near Broken Bow. That one's going to be tagged for golf ball sized hail, as we had a little resurgence here in one of those updrafts as the cluster is kind of breaking up. You're going to see a lot of these smaller cells kind of splitting off and dying here as this one's now rolling towards the river, towards I-80. And now let's check on what's going on with this Olivet storm. As it looked pretty good one scan ago. The most recent scan, I don't know, that doesn't look quite as nice to me. I wouldn't say that's on the ground. Those DBZ values are too low to confirm a tornado via radar here. But this warning, the severe thunderstorm warning, is 2 minutes remaining on it. So we'll see what's going to happen with that one. If they're going to issue any kind of a tornado possible on that severe thunderstorm, or what they're going to do. Looks like another hook trying to form out here, by the way. This could form into a more robust supercell entirely here to the southwest of Sioux Falls. So that's one where I'm definitely going to watch pretty closely here. Yeah, it does have tight rotation, yes. It's not the most prominent looking signature in the world, though. I'm behind on velocity. I'm looking at the 2643 scan, 7:26 p.m. Central Time, or 0:2625Z. I mean, there is rotation there. I'm not denying that. I just don't particularly think it's on the ground. Again, we do still have a tornado warning here in Maryland. That one is headed towards Berlin. It doesn't look quite as good as it did a few minutes ago. We're going to see a new velocity scan in just a minute here. And matter of fact, it just came in. So this one not looking at nearly as concerning here, but I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them continue this tornado warning. Because a QLCS spin up tornado is very possible in this line here as we continue off towards the Atlantic. So that'll be something to watch here for sure. I'm going to check in on the South Dakota storms again, as they are definitely intriguing me. And this one is, again, some of this data is contaminated for sure, but not all of it. Let me go up in the tilt angles a little bit. It's a little difficult to tell. We're so close to the radar unit here. It's a little difficult to tell if I'm looking at multiple competing updrafts that are just taking on that shape where it looks like a hook, or if we're actually looking at a large, robust supercell trying to develop here. No, that you can't confirm this is on the ground. So in order to confirm a tornado is on the ground, and by the way, look at that gorgeous sunset in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. But in order to confirm a tornado on the ground, you need at least 40 DBZ values. Here, you're getting nothing. You're getting scraps barely in these DBZ values. So you're getting into the mid-20s at highest with those greens that are there. So in order to confirm a tornado on the ground, you need a 0.8 or lower correlation coefficient drop. You need 40 plus DBZs, and you need a velocity couplet, all to be co-located in the same spot. Now, what you have You do have a velocity couplet, and maybe you sort of have a CC drop, but you do not have high enough DBZ values to confirm that you would have debris here. So you definitely cannot confirm a tornado there. Christine, good to see you in the chat. Apparently there's a nice little hail core. Yep. Definitely got a 3-body scatter spike coming out of this storm here. Not a major one. Apparently there's one on the southern storm here, south of Calgary. So let's take a volumetric look at this guy. See if we can get a nice little hail core look at here from our incredible Canadian radar visualization tool. Okay. There might be a bug, or I did something wrong. Or we may just not have the highest tilt angles yet. Looks like I'm only getting the lowest tilt angle here, but that's okay. I can come back to it in a bit. And our considerable severe thunderstorm warning for South Dakota has been lifted. We still have one for Nebraska, for Custer County. That one is going to be including golf ball size hail. And then we have a tornado warning still out here in Maryland that we're watching pretty closely as well, but it would need a recycle if it's going to produce a tornado. We're going to get a new velocity scan on it in just a minute here, but it's a QLCS threat. So it would be very easy for us to get a tornado if any notching occurs here. It looks a lot less organized now than it did a little bit ago. Christine saying, finally had a day without some storms. That is good to hear. I definitely love to hear that. Taylor, good morning. Looks like they did just go ahead and shave down this tornado warning, by the way, but opted to maintain it as of 2 minutes ago here. So this has 40 minutes remaining as this storm is crashing down towards the Atlantic. Excuse me, it probably won't last. It probably won't last the full 40 minutes, though, as these storms are eventually going to make it over the water here. So. We did get an upgrade on a severe thunderstorm warning out in South Dakota back to a considerable, by the way. So I can go ahead and check in on that. I don't know which one of these it is. I'm assuming it's for this one. We'll find out any second here, as this one looks like it's got, there's a lot of hail in there. Yeah, I mean, you can see that correlation coefficient drop here, all these like yellows and greens that are starting to show up in here. That's that hail core. And it extends pretty high to around 10,000 feet. So definitely still producing some hail. Take a little volumetric look-see here, and you can see that's a heck of a hail core. So yeah, definitely a good upgrade. And the storm is much more organized, much more well-sheared than it was earlier. So definitely one that we need to pay close attention to. There's actually even a bounded weak echo region potentially. So this might be, I think this really is one updraft here that could be, that could cause some problems if it can get rotating. We got a circle warning northwest of Nordig, Alberta. What is a circle warning? We're about to find out together what a circle warning is. What? What is this? It's a circle. I mean, it's not a circle. It's like what is this, an octagon? I think it has 8 sides. It should be an octagon. I've never seen this before. This is really interesting to me. So we have a little octagon warning out here in Canada. This is to the southwest of Edmonton, northwest of Nordegg. And yeah, I think this is an octagon. It has 8. Pretty sure I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 sides. It's an octagon. Incredible. So we have an octagon tornado warning. Same shape as a stop sign in the United States anyway. Red stop sign. Really, really awesome view in the bottom left, by the way, of that sunset. Just a really beautiful view. And let's see, that camera is actually coming out of the Starkville, Mississippi area. I did not realize that. That is basically from where I live right now. So that's cool. And here's that considerable upgrade, by the way. Or wait. Oh, okay. So it was the Olivet storm that was upgraded to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, which is interesting. You can see that low precip hook is trying to recycle again. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. It has been upgraded to 2-inch hail, though. You take a look at that hail core. I think the one near the one closer to Sioux Falls should get upgraded as well. Whoa! Braden with the 5 gifted memberships. How about that? So Bauer Power Storms, John Schleiz, Kim Sukaskas, Moderate Motley, and Okie35 all got a gifted subscription courtesy of Braden, our Director of Development. Braden, thank you so much for that. You never have to do that. The GOAT. Yeah, I will say the storm near Olivet doesn't look quite as good for hail as the storm just to the southwest of Sioux Falls, in my opinion. All right, let's go back to the tornado warning in Maryland. That's where I need to focus most of my time here. So that QLCS tornado threat still present, but nothing wrapping up right now that looks like it's going to put down a tornado. Speaking of gifted subscriptions, it's the season of giving. Here's 5 more gifted subscriptions for you guys who are sticking with me here on a Thursday night. You got Corvilius, Ashton June, Violet For Blood, Harold Olson, and Michelle M, all with more gifted subscriptions. So we just added 10 new members, or gifted memberships, excuse me. So we just added 10 new members to us here at WillBrattonWx, as I had a little burp action there. Squeezed out of my chest. Liam, how are you? For context, by the way, YouTube gives me 10 memberships that I can gift out every month. I don't get to choose who they go to. I can do them randomly in 2 different sets of 5. And I haven't used any of them this month yet. So that's the first 5. I have another 5 that I can give out later this month, and we'll probably do that on Met Monday, this coming Monday. Yeah, welcome to all of our new members. One thing I'll say with memberships is that you will get featured on our website, which is cool. Look at that. Here's all our members. And we have more improvements coming to the website very soon. We're really close to launching so much incredible new stuff that I can't wait to show you guys. You can see literally there's me showing the website. I bet we can create a tunnel effect if I wait a second here. There's going to be like a million broadcasts. I'm tunneling myself out. Yeah, Met Monday has been a lot of fun. Again, by the way, we do still have this tornado warning, by the way. There isn't an immediate tornado threat right now. It has 33 minutes remaining. It's not going to last that whole time. It'll last maybe another 10 to 15 minutes before the storm pushes off the coast and into the water here. But yeah, Met Monday's been a lot of fun. Our next special guest is a really exciting one you guys are going to love as well. We just had Connor Croft. It's kind of hard to top that. But the next guest has arguably a larger following even, I think, than Connor Croft, technically. I don't know. He's massive. You guys are going to love it. Can't wait to announce that. Is it Tornado Pagey? It is not Tornado Pagey. It is. The one thing I will say is it is a male because I accidentally just leaked that myself a minute ago because I said he. So it is a male. More rumbles of thunder rolling through Starkville here. I think we have a couple showers right now outside where I'm at. And then just off to my west, there are some stronger storms. If I wasn't broadcasting right now, I'd be driving into them like an idiot. But again, this tornado warning is still active for Worcester County. Really, this is just for the beach, essentially, Ocean City. And yeah, we'll continue to stay with it for at least another couple of minutes here. And then we'll move on back to South Dakota and Minnesota to see if we're going to get any tornadic development that will develop with all of those storms. To be determined on a lot of that. And you can see we are very close to making it off the shore here. So a water spout, a water spout threat will still continue as this goes offshore, but the tornado threat will be gone in just a moment here within the next 5 minutes as this pushes offshore. Apparently there was a nice crawler bolt on the Starkville camera in the bottom left-hand corner. I must have missed that. There is still an absolutely gorgeous sunset with that though. It's kind of funny looking at. I've actually never played around with the cameras in Starkville for some reason. I'm doing this right now for the first time. They're all along 12, it looks like. I know you guys can't see me flipping through them. I'm just kind of messing with them right now because I haven't actually looked through them. Hayden saying there was a severe thunderstorm watch issued in Alberta. And this tornado warning will be wrapping up here in Maryland at any moment now. If we had a tornado, it would be basically like right along Ocean City here. This type of region. So somewhere in there. I don't think we have one, though. I don't think we're going to get one. And this will be offshore over the water in a matter of minutes. And there's that next scan on radar or on reflectivity. And then our new velocity scan will be in just a second. And hopefully this will be fully offshore by that point. We are very close to this tornado warning threat being gone. So hopefully we can get there. There we go. There's that new update here. You can see any rotation that might still exist would be literally right along the outer bank here. And it'll be pushing offshore in just a matter of minutes. If we did have a tornado, it would be just south of Ocean City, right in this area. And it wouldn't shock me to see a waterspout form as this one goes offshore, but I think the tornado threat is mostly diminished here. Jumping back on into South Dakota, we have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning still for Hutchinson, Turner, and Yankton counties here in South Dakota, where that hook is continually trying to recycle and do something near Lesterville. It's not looking very robust or concerning at the moment. It could tighten up over time, though. Possibly oh, yeah, we got a downburst going on right now. So just to the southwest of Sioux Falls, we've got a downburst. With potentially some pretty strong winds here. You're going to see these reds and greens are pretty tight together here, and watch as the greens continue to push and spread in this direction, and the reds do the opposite. They push out and spread in this direction. So a downburst or microburst, what we've seen a lot in Mississippi the last few days. That's what's going on right now here in South Dakota. And this is just to the southwest of Sioux Falls. So potentially some strong winds here. And despite the fact that this looks like a hook echo near Parker, this is not anything rotating. You can actually see this this outflow boundary just getting kicked out really hard here with this storm. You can see that continuing to push out further and further from the storm. So this one's not going to pose any tornadic threat, but it is definitely a downbursting or microbursting scenario here, where you could see maybe an isolated gust above 60 miles per hour. So definitely something to pay close attention to. I didn't really expect that up here. The environment, the thermodynamic profile didn't seem all that favorable for downbursts, at least what I was looking at earlier. That could have changed. Whereas it has looked very favorable the last couple of days down in the south, especially in the deep south towards like Mississippi, where we had a downburst here at Mississippi State University literally yesterday. So looks like there have been some reports of wall clouds. Some of these storms in Minnesota. This one near Hasman looks intriguing. Other than that, it really is starting to seem like our tornado threat back towards the plains and the Midwest is not going to materialize. So that is good. Hopefully that's actually the case. Hopefully I'm not just waffling here. Yeah, microbursts can be extremely damaging. I mean, they can bring isolated gusts that reach tornado force in very isolated instances. And that tornado warning in Maryland, by the way, should be expiring any minute here now. As it's very likely, actually, that we have a waterspout just offshore. But thankfully, this thing didn't really wrap up like that or tighten up enough to potentially be producing a waterspout or a tornado until it was already offshore. So hopefully this tornado threat is shifted just to a waterspout threat and won't impact anybody on land, or hopefully anybody on the water as well. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but there was a little bit of thunder in my neck of the woods. That one was decently loud to get through my noise canceling headphones, but why is it still on the map when the tornado potential is over the water? I think they, you can see this polygon, this tornado warning polygon is going to extend slightly past the edge of land here. And that's intentional. So until the couplet clears that polygon, which it is about to, that tornado warning will probably persist. So I would think on the next radar scan, it'll get lifted. If not, maybe now, or maybe the scan after that, within the next couple of minutes, it'll get lifted, I'm sure. Okay, so this storm near Lesterville might look a little misleading. Kind of looks like you have some pretty crazy rotation here, but you'll notice that this storm appears to be undercut by its own RFD. So essentially, this line right here, it looks like the RFD of this storm, which is the rear flank downdraft. So the part of the storm that's coming down around the back that forms your hook echo, for example. And that tornado warning was just lifted, by the way. So no tornado warning on the map. This storm looks undercut by its own RFD. Essentially, that means that your downdrafting winds on the backside of the storm are cutting off your inflow or colliding with your inflow winds. And so it looks a little misleading here. This looks like a very strong couplet capable of producing a tornado. But to me, I don't think it is. I think this storm is undercut here. Yeah, I think tomorrow back towards Illinois might get upgraded. Or I'm sure it'll get upgraded to a slight risk at 1 a.m. Central Time tonight, towards like Illinois and maybe even parts of Wisconsin, maybe even Northwest Indiana, where there are going to be some decently favorable conditions in place. I do think that our tornado threat is probably not going to materialize super well out here, especially maybe in Minnesota. I'm definitely worried about the Sioux Falls and Sioux City region. Like all of these storms, if any of them can remain discreet and get organized, I think that'll pose a threat. We did get an upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. I think that's in Arkansas. I'm guessing that's a wind-driven threat. We'll go take a look at that when it shows up on my map here, but it looks like our tornado threat is not going to materialize super well. And it's going to be dependent on any storms being able to get organized out here in and around the Sioux Falls and Sioux City type of region. Any of them that can get organized and remain discreet are going to pose that threat. But you'll see, for example, the one near Lesterville, the reason this isn't getting tornado warned right now is because it looks like it's completely undercut by its own RFD here. And so if that's going to be the trend for all of these storms, the same thing's happening with this one too, by the way, just to the southwest of Sioux Falls. Here's that RFD on this storm. So your inflow is just kind of running into that wall of outflow here. Yeah, mesoscale accidents are pretty common. Essentially, what that means is that the environment itself might not have been super favorable for the tornado, but you had something happen on the mesoscale, which just means the small scale, essentially. So the scale of like around the size of individual thunderstorms is what the mesoscale is. And when, for example, you could get two colliding outflow boundaries or two storms that collide, that introduce some like artificial vorticity into the environment or helicity, and that can lead to an isolated, like, or I should say, a localized tornado threat. Do I think tomorrow we'll have a 5% tornado risk? I think it's definitely possible. I haven't been able to look at the models for the last handful of hours to see how they've been trending while I've been while I've been broadcasting. But I think it's definitely possible that we see a 5% put in place tomorrow. We will definitely see. I'll probably be live for tomorrow too. Zach saying I'm currently camping right now. Not sure if there is even a tornado right now. Can I get some reassurance? You got to tell me where you're at. You're currently in a camper with the tornado warning going on. You're a bit scared. Well, there's no tornado warning on the map right now. There are no tornado warnings. So hopefully that'll at least provide some reassurance. But you got to tell me where you're at. Here's that considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Arkansas, by the way. It is 470 mile per hour winds with more of these downbursting type storms. And this is south of Little Rock, closer to Pine Bluff. It's actually our only considerable severe thunderstorm warning on the map right now. Okay, so you're out there in Maryland. I got you. So yeah, that tornado warning is no longer in effect. It has been lifted. Yeah, Zach, I know the tornado warning was scheduled to run through 9:15 p.m. Eastern time, but it has been canceled. So there is no tornado warning on the map. I promise. And that tornado threat is fully diminished now. Well, there is still a threat for a water spout, but that's offshore. If you're in a camper, of course, that won't impact you. That would be out on the water in the Atlantic. So you should be good to go, and hopefully that'll help you out and provide a little reassurance. Looks like we had a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust was measured here near Sheridan, Arkansas. Yeah, Zach, I hope you're staying safe out there, and I hope you're enjoying camping. Looks like there was actually just a funnel cloud report a couple minutes ago from Tyler Olson. Brief funnel with rapid rotation overhead. Interesting. Oh wait, Tyler Olson is not who I thought about. I was thinking of Tyler Hansen. That's who I know. That's the Tyler that I know. Got it. So yeah, apparently there was a funnel cloud report. This was about like 7 minutes ago for a brief funnel cloud near Paynesville. Yeah, it really looks like all of these storms are really struggling to get any type of well organized rotation sustained here. To get another upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be for this one near Redwood Falls and Wabasso for golf ball size hail out here in southwestern Minnesota. So that's going to include Brown and Redwood counties here in Minnesota. Yeah, no, this has been a very, very active year for Illinois and also Wisconsin too, but especially Illinois. And that's not like a trend that's going to continue for many, many years or anything like that. But it has been a particularly like an anomalously active year for severe weather for those regions, especially tornadoes. They get a lot of severe weather, but it's been especially active for tornadoes. Still hearing rumbles of thunder in the background. As this storm out here near Parker is still continuing to be a little bit more of a downburst type of scenario here. Oh, I was like, this looks so weird. I was on Storm Relative by mistake. But yeah, this storm looks to be in that stage where it's likely going to be dissipating relatively quickly, unless a new updraft can really like establish and sustain itself here. But in general, we're looking at this RFD really, really undercutting that inflow here. So your inflow winds are just kind of running into that brick wall, essentially. Yeah, Indiana has been very active as well. And it happens. It's not like, climate change is about to kill us all or anything like that. Don't let people lie to you and scare you for no reason. Anomalously active years do happen all over the place for a variety of reasons. We did get a new upgrade, by the way, in South Dakota for another considerable severe thunderstorm warning. It could be the Parker storm for wind, as that one is still downbursting. So it seems anyway. We're going to find out in a minute here. If not, it could be the Lesterville or Utica one, maybe for hail. I mean, it could be the Parker one for hail as well, even. in theory. Was that tornado in Dover a wedge? I have not seen any footage of it, so I have no idea. From one of the damage reports that I saw out there, it seems, and it was a Parker storm, by the way, that was upgraded, and it was for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with that continued downburst threat. So, still looking at a decent, big time wind threat type of deal going on here, just southwest of Sioux Falls. Yeah, I didn't see any footage on that Dover storm. One of the storm reports that was put on Spotter Network with a 3-foot diameter tree being snapped. That would be usually, if it was a hardwood tree, that should be indicative of an EF2 damage indicator. More thunder. Very, very, I don't know if you guys can hear any of that thunder, but very, very nice thunder. Is this going to miss Lamar's, Iowa? This it may or may not. It might fall apart before it even gets there, as it's been downbursting for some time. So essentially, the storm has been dissipating and weakening for some time here. So we'll see what happens. Someone's dragging around the Starkville cameras. That's funny. In the bottom left of your screen, so they're panning them around, looking at something. There's been a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning in our area, so I'm surprised they're not aiming them at the storms to look at lightning. Because usually the traffic operators get all excited and they start trying to look at the lightning when there is some. Might be raining out here right now and stuff. I'm just gonna check. I forget I'm the weather guy sometimes, and if I want to know if it's raining, I can simply look. Yeah, we could probably get some stratiform rain out here where I'm at. Just some light rain. The storms are just off to our west. Looks like maybe some newer storms starting to fire off that might actually impact us here in Starkville. So we'll see. But enough about my neck of the woods. Still watching the stronger storms out here in South Dakota and Minnesota. Those are the ones I'm the most concerned about. This one near Butte as well could be something to watch. In general, I think a lot of these storms are going to struggle tonight. I don't think that tornado threat's really going to get realized. So, really going to get realized. I guess that's a lot of. It's a complicated sentence to understand, but I don't think it'll come to fruition. Yeah, I'm going to be intrigued to see what surveying tells us about the tornado in Dover. As it was a PDS tornado warning. So it was confirmed as a large and extremely dangerous tornado, which is that's the criteria for a PDS tornado warning. We got a new hail report coming out of this storm near Wabasso, Minnesota, for nickel-sized hail with some larger stones mixed in. Interesting. And this storm is tagged for golf ball sized hail. In fact, that hail threat has been observed. Interesting. It is also tagged tornado possible, by the way, on this storm. And I don't know if I really think that it needs to be, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I would assume a lot of these are tagged tornado possible, by the way. Given the environment that they're working within. I guess not. Maybe just that one. Okay, forget everything I think I know. That one shouldn't be. That one's downbursting. This one could be, maybe. Nope. All right, matter of fact, that was the single only warning on the map that was tornado possible tag, so. Swing and a miss right there, but. All right, I'm going to check in on the considerable severe thunderstorm warning down in Arkansas here. That is south of Little Rock, west of Pine Bluff, where we still have 70-mile-per-hour winds possible with multiple of these storms, as any of them could downburst. That's why these large polygons are issued on all these severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way, is because in the southeast right now, we are dealing with a lot of these microbursting and downbursting storms. So you got to put large polygons around them. So, for example, this storm right here might only be impacting that white circle, but if it downbursts, then it would potentially be impacting this far around it, so you have to issue these large polygons around them just in case. Does that mean PDS was overkill in the Dover tornado? I don't know if I would say it's overkill when it's headed towards the downtown area of a very populated town, and not only a very populated town, but also a state capital. I don't think it's necessarily overkill per se. I think overkill would be very kind of harsh. Yeah, look how far undercut the storm is. This is why the storm has 0 tornado potential here. I mean, that's insane. That RFD is completely that is one of the most textbook undercuts I've seen. This storm is just going to struggle to get any inflow in it whatsoever here. Man, that's crazy. I think we're going to really struggle to get any type of a tornado threat in general for the rest of the night, which is obviously a good thing. How's my day today? My day was pretty good. I had a class at 8 a.m. And honestly, I just kind of relaxed and got things done after that for a while. That's kind of why I was late to the party for going live today, because I was just kind of chilling out, getting some things done, relaxing. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, some time kind of flew by a little bit. Wow. Am I an atmospheric science professor? No, I'm not a professor. I am a TA. So a teaching assistant. I got my undergrad and I'm doing my master's. I'm writing a thesis. And while I'm doing that, I'm also working for the meteorology department as a teaching assistant. So I teach the senior level meteorology class labs, essentially. And I help the students like study and all that kind of business. But I have a couple classes that I'm taking at like the graduate level as well, of course. Yeah, Minnesota is having some severe weather tonight. We've got a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings right now, including a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. That one's in Brown and Redwood counties. In fact, we just got another considerable severe thunderstorm warning. That might actually be for me, basically down here in Mississippi. So we'll check on that here. I don't know which one that was that just got upgraded. It could easily be one of these just off to my west for, again, more downbursting types of stuff. I don't know if you guys can still hear that thunder in the background of my microphone or not. That just keeps coming in periodically. There it is. So it's actually not the one near me. It's the one near Laurel, Ellisville, south of Meridian, and north of Hattiesburg. So 70-mile-per-hour wind gust possible down there. No. So the classes that I'm a teaching assistant for are classes that I already took while I was an undergrad. So now I'm a master's student. But you don't take a ton of classes in grad school. Most of your time is spent doing your research and writing your thesis. But I am in a couple of classes at the graduate level. Weather Wisdom, good to see you lurking in the chat tonight. I don't know how much longer we'll end up going tonight as I am getting up at 5 in the morning to do a forecast video tomorrow. And then I have class right after that. So, but we'll be live for at least a little bit longer here to see if anything is going to materialize or not. Yes, I very much know that heat lightning is not a real thing. Well, heat lightning is just a myth. It's not even a thing. It's not that it's not lightning. Heat lightning, what people think is heat lightning, is in fact real lightning. It's just lightning that's happening very far away, and they just can't see the bolt. They don't hear the thunder. It just lights up the sky. Yeah, we could definitely see some severe weather near the Twin Cities later on this evening if any of these storms can persist long enough as they continue down to the southeast. Logan, no, it's not necessarily lightning that doesn't hit the ground. It's just lightning that's too far away because the earth is curved. So you can't see it where you're standing. It just lights up the horizon, but you can't actually see it. So it's like, heat lightning is like the nickname that's given to that, but it's not a real thing. It's just lightning that's happening far away that you can't see it. I don't think there will be any winds up to 80 miles per hour tonight, Jesse. I'm not sure where Heppen is, but I'm guessing that you mean maybe in the Twin Cities area for like Hennepin County or something like that. And it's possible that we see a severe thunderstorm there, but you're probably not going to have any 80-mile-per-hour winds or anything like that. Man, I don't know how this storm is still alive. The way it's like downbursted the way it has, I mean, it just continues to spread. And those echo tops have probably fallen a lot. I haven't really watched it close enough. Let me try Omaha radar out of range. Okay. Bedford radar probably going to be out of range. Man. That's annoying. I can't get really good echo top data on this storm. They did just put a flash flood warning on it, by the way, as it's just kind of sitting there dumping rain. The main threat I'm concerned about for tomorrow kind of depends where you're asking about. There is going to be a tornado threat tomorrow. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think really like the wind and hail threat back towards like the central plains, towards Nebraska and Kansas is going to be the most robust threat. But I do think that Illinois, Wisconsin, maybe northwestern Indiana will be dealing with some sort of a threat, potentially for tornadoes. Southern Wisconsin, yeah, I think your main threat will be like some tornadic action that could form out there. You're not going to be looking at like a super robust like wind producing or hail producing event out there, most likely. Yeah, I really don't think we're going to get any type of a tornado threat that's really going to materialize out here, which is obviously fantastic news. But I'm a little surprised. Although I will say, like I showed earlier, when we looked at our satellite imagery, and you can see just how cloudy it had been in Minnesota earlier, especially. That's a major limiting factor, and that's why our main storms that have done anything at all have been in southeastern South Dakota because they haven't had those clouds. And then in Nebraska, nothing happening because we have that giant storm, that giant bowling ball out there that created a lot of cloud cover and really limited the amount of heating that we could get down to the surface to create more instability to bust through the cap there. Looks like this one near Hibbing from a while ago that I was looking at ended up having a wall cloud. And that was like 2 hours ago now. I just didn't see that. Or at least a wall cloud that was reported anyway. That doesn't necessarily mean that it happened, but it was reported on Spotter Network. Sometimes it can be a little bit hit or miss with the accuracy of those, but you went to Ed Sheeran? That's awesome. Down in Arizona, by the way, near Holbrook, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in the midst of monsoon season down there. Again, another reminder that a monsoon is not a storm. I can't look at this storm and say that's a monsoon. That's not a thing. A monsoon is a seasonal uptick in precipitation. So, still watching this guy over here for some potential. I mean, this is really the only storm to me that feels like it could do anything in terms of any type of a real tornado threat. It does have golf ball sized hail. Wow. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my entire setup just shook. That was loud. My whole desk just shook from that thunder. Yeah, you might hear that now. Yeah, it's rumbling real good. My goodness. I saw the flash. I don't know if you guys saw me look to my left. I saw the flash through my blinds, which are closed. I saw that flash and I was like, whoa. And then yeah, that shook my entire apartment complex. Do I know of any great careers that involve airplanes and meteorology or football? Wait. Okay, you deleted the message on me. Monsoon, seasonal shift in winds leading to increased precipitation. Yes. And it doesn't always lead to a seasonal increase in precipitation. That's what it's known for, though. But yes, that is like the working definition. It comes from an Arabic word. And I don't speak Arabic, so I I don't know what the word is, but it comes from an Arabic word that just means like I think it means like season or like um I think that's what it means. I think it just means season if I remember correctly. But it's literally a shift in the winds that happens with some seasonal variability. There's a hail spike here near Wanda, by the way. Definitely some hail near Wanda. But it's a seasonal shift in the winds that usually, what it's known for anyway, leads to increased precipitation. Do I know of any great careers that involve meteorology and airplanes? So, are you wanting it to involve meteorology and airplanes, or do you mean like evolve as in like improve them, like build new airplanes and new meteorological technology? Because the answer to both of those questions is yes, but there are a lot of private sector jobs that exist that combine aviation and meteorology. I mean, you can think, military, commercial airlines, private airlines, shipping companies. There are so many different things, even emergency management. So many different people operate in the air. Um, involve like a combination of both. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot. There are a lot of different career opportunities that involve both aviation um, and meteorology. National Weather Service offices co-located with airports. Yeah, that's a good one too. Also hurricane hunters. Yeah, that's a good one. There's tons of them. There are literally so many different occupations that combine the two. That considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been lifted, by the way. I was thinking that might happen when this new one just showed up. This new one for ping pong ball size hail is going to last another 51 minutes. So that's a long time. And then we have we still have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning ongoing just to the south of Sioux Falls for those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as that storm is still trying to survive for the time being. There's another good old blast of thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear any of these or not. I mean, yeah. Are any of these coming through my mic? Any of these thunder claps? Geriatric. What does that even mean, Scott? What does that even mean? That might be a word that's slightly outside of my dictionary. Old. Yeah. The considerable severe thunderstorm warning on it has 4 minutes remaining. I doubt they're going to issue a new one. They may issue a new severe thunderstorm warning, probably not a new considerable. Down in Mississippi, still looking at that considerable severe thunderstorm warning along 59. That is including Laurel. It's between Hattiesburg and Meridian. That one's got those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts being possible in there as well. And then in Arkansas, similar deal, those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts being possible out there with that storm. And that one's also capable of $50 sized hail. Okay, so you didn't hear it through the mic, but the webcam did shake a little while ago. Interesting. Oops. One thing I'll say is it has been quite the interesting night. You have chicken tonight. Very nice, Jesse. I did not eat, or I did, excuse me, I did eat chicken for lunch today. I love anytime there's severe weather in my area. All of my meteorologist friends down here at Mississippi State University, we all start texting each other. It spreads like the plague. Like every clap of thunder, we have a Snapchat group chat. I don't really use Snapchat for anything except group chats. So whenever there's a big clap of thunder, I just go straight to the group chat, and you can watch everybody's little Bitmoji pop up in the group chat as everybody opens it up to talk about the clap of thunder, because we're all a bunch of weather nerds. But um, yeah, sounds like it's starting to really come down out there around where I'm at. We are getting close to 100 likes on this broadcast. So if you guys could hit the like and subscribe, if you guys haven't done those things, that would be incredible. I'd be very grateful. We got about 2 minutes remaining on the South Dakota severe thunderstorm warning that is considerable tag for Lincoln and Turner counties. Yeah, the Starkville bubble is being threatened again. You're absolutely right. I will say it stayed just west of us here. I mean, we're just dealing with rain. It sounds like it's coming down pretty good out there, but I think it's just wind. I mean, there's just some general stratiform rain. I mean, I can't look outside, but this is a nothing burger out here, really. There has been a lot of lightning though. A handful of lightning bolts have been striking like in and around Starkville, so I'm surprised those aren't showing up on my map here. I guess maybe a couple of them are showing up. But yeah, a lot of lightning. Tomorrow is a day that I'm going to get another broadcast in, most likely. And during the day, I might go to the pool, maybe a little bit during the day after I have class. To answer your question, Jesse. And then Saturday, I'll watch some soccer Saturday night, and then maybe go hang out with some friends. As it's going to be a pretty quiet, severe weather day, so we'll probably end up going out together as a group, and so that'll be fun. And then Sunday might be a little bit of a chill day. Of course, tomorrow's going to be an early morning with the forecast video that we're putting out. But yeah. You listen to music on Friday? Nice. All right, and that Parker severe thunderstorm warning has expired, by the way. And the Mississippi one has just been downgraded. So our only considerable severe thunderstorm warning is this one here in Arkansas. It's got another 29 minutes remaining on it. We'll see how long that one will last. What type of music do I like? I like really everything, to be honest with you. I mean, I like country. I like rock. I like I dabble in some pop and other things like that. I even like the blues and some jazz, and I listen to a bunch of random stuff. I mean, I listen to more country than anything else, but I like a lot of different types of music, even some like electric stuff. But do I like VeggieTales songs? There you go. Now we're asking the hard hitting questions. Big time VeggieTales fan here. All right, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick look at everything that's going on around the entire country, and then we're probably going to end off the broadcast here. So we're going to start with the storms that are going to expire, or the severe thunderstorm warnings that are going to expire the soonest. So these couple, one up here in Minnesota, this one is going to be for Aitkin, Carlton, Crow Wing, and Pine counties in Minnesota. That one's going to expire in like 12 minutes. Just a general severe thunderstorm warning for that cluster of storms. We got some more out in Minnesota too. Down in Mississippi, we have a handful that are going to expire soon as well. For all of these pop-up downbursts, pop-up or popcorn type of storms out here in Mississippi. Down in Tennessee, we do have one as well, just on the other side of the border. And that one's kind of pretty far south of Nashville. I mean, it's on the Alabama, Tennessee border to the north of Florence. And then we got some other storm action going on. We got one severe thunderstorm warning in North Carolina that still remains, or actually a couple that still remain, I should say. One near Forest City, one to the southwest of that, and to the due west of that as well, north of Greenville, South Carolina. And what else do we have? Out in Arizona, we're getting active there as well, where we've got another severe thunderstorm warning near Winslow. That one's capable of producing some small hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds in there. Again, it's monsoon season. It's going to be an active severe weather season here in Arizona and New Mexico, but especially Arizona. It's been quite active the last couple of weeks, and that'll probably continue for another couple of weeks. And then down in Alabama, this is actually what I just looked at. So on the Alabama-Tennessee border, still got that business going on. And then finally, our most concerning storm on the map right now is this considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Arkansas to the southwest of Little Rock, west of Pine Bluff, close to Interstate 30, where that one could be producing 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar sized hail. And so for the rest of the night, for those of you that might be out in the Minnesota, South Dakota, northwestern Iowa type of region, these are the areas I would be worried about for any potential spin-up tornado risk, and I don't think we're going to get any. I would be pretty surprised if we saw any tornadoes tonight from this point going forward. But again, I can't entirely rule it out. It's definitely possible. And the environment is okay. There is some potential. These storms are just really struggling to really sustain themselves and establish good updrafts and downdrafts that are just remaining symbiotic with one another. A lot of these storms are getting very messy very quickly. So I don't think we're going to see any tornadoes, but it is possible. We can't entirely rule it out. So if you're in those areas, make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts tonight, and make sure you check out our forecast video tomorrow morning, as we're going to be covering everything going on around the nation for the next couple of days. That'll be coming out Friday sometime before 9 a.m. So look for that forecast video. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Like this broadcast if you haven't done that already. We're 3 likes away from 100 on this broadcast. So if we could hit that mark, that would be incredible. And other than that, and unless anybody has any final questions they want answered before we end things off, that'll be it for the night. So I'll stay on for another minute here and see if anybody's got any questions they need answered. And if not, we'll go ahead and end off the broadcast. So you can also make sure to join our Discord server. Case and just link that in the chat. And a couple other things even too. We have Met Monday coming up with an incredible special guest. That'll be getting announced pretty soon on who that guest is going to be. So make sure you tune in Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Time for that. Met Monday was an absolute blast the first time, and I think it's going to be even better with each episode as we figure more things out. So really looking forward to that. And of course, we're sending Storm Chaser Mikey Plemons down to Brazil soon. That's going to be really exciting stuff as well. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning in Nebraska here. So I just wanted to quickly show that one. This is closer to Oxford or Cambridge, even Stockville, Nebraska. And actually, this storm looks like it might even have just a little bit of rotation. But it's pretty elevated here. I don't think this is one that could produce a tornado, but it is possible. Definitely can't fully rule it out. Is Nebraska good tonight? Yeah, there will be some stronger storms out here that could fire off. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that we're even seeing anything out here firing off. But entire region out here in eastern Nebraska, maybe even parts of northern Kansas, we could see a couple of stronger storms that could be capable of all hazards, such as maybe this supercell out here, if it can sustain itself. I think it's going to be really difficult for the supercell to do anything, but we'll see. You're going to see dew points are in the upper 60s, maybe close to around 70 degrees. So not super surface based here. It'll be something to watch for sure. Jesse, thank you for the kind words on Monday. I hope you enjoyed the show. We definitely enjoyed it. I think it went really well. Any ETA on when Met Monday will also be available on Apple Podcasts. We haven't set that up yet. So I don't know on that one just yet, but hopefully we'll be able to make that happen at some point, maybe on Spotify as well, because I think Spotify supports podcasts with videos now too. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And we did hit 100 likes, so thank you guys very much for that. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you. I'm going to see if we can find somebody to raid here before we end off the night. Let me see if anybody is live storm chasing or anything like that. Okay, it looks like Freddie McKinney is live, so we'll go ahead and send everybody to Freddie McKinney. Obviously, one of the best storm chasers in the game. So let me go ahead and set that up. And then when you guys get to Freddie McKinney's chat, make sure to let him know that you came from me here at WillBrattonWx. That'll help us out. Give me just a minute. Redirect, add. Then I need, Freddie McKinney. There we go. All right. So when you guys get to Freddie McKinney's chat here in just a second, make sure to let him know that you came from me. And then feel free to continue watching his storm chase tonight. Or if not, enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe out there, everybody. And yeah,